Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the All-Star Showdown for the British Esports Association here on Rocket Kingdom TV. My name is Craftman. I'm joined today by the Killsync, and we are ready for our first qualifier for the main event, which is coming up in a couple of weeks. Killsync, welcome to the stream. How are you doing today, buddy?
Hello, I'm really good, and I'm excited to watch these two teams play. Obviously, we've got AGSB facing off against Crosskeys in the first match, and we've seen AGSB play already on Rocket Kingdom TV in the unis versus the school. So this is a team we know a little bit about, and then we've got Crosskeys, more unknown team. I know a few of their players, but this is gonna be a fight. This is gonna be a battle. First game in, and it's gonna be an exciting one.
Yeah, I cannot wait for it, and I'm sure you guys in the chat can't wait for it as well. But let's meet the teams that are going to be in our first match of the day. It is AGSB versus Crosskey. Couple of good teams there in Crosskey and AGSB. Killsync, a couple of teams who have had good results in the past couple of seasons that they've both been in rather. Take us through both these teams, why don't you?
Yeah, well, AGSB, it's not just the seasons that they've had. So obviously, season 4, the most recent, they're third, fourth place. They lost 4-0 against Sunderland Sears. Now we've seen Sunderland Sears play before as well. That's not a team to be trifled with. This is a team that means business. So it's not too surprising that a team might lose to Sunderland Sears. You know, they are one of the top. They are one of the best. It's as simple as that. Cross Keys, however, we've only really got the results from season 3, in which again third, fourth, and they lost 4-0 against Basilisk. So these two, you know, both swept by teams in the season plays for that third, fourth place playoff. Now, the more important thing is worth noting is that AGSB, when they faced up on, I think it was Thursday, against Loughborough and Salford, they beat Loughborough. This is a university team which is an established team that they came along for a little bit of a practice and they absolutely, I'm not going to say smashed them. It wasn't a smashing per se, but they beat them quite comfortably. Let's put it that way. They lost to Salford afterwards, but this is with a 1900 player. So this is a team that, even though they do not have the caliber of players that Loughborough and Salford have, their team composition and the way they play together is so precise and so well organized. This is a team that practices, and you can see they practice and they play well. Now, Cross Keys, Tails has been somebody that I've known for a fair while. I've seen him play in so many different orgs and leagues that watching the progress that he's made is incredible. He was always a great player, and even watching the clips there that we just saw, he's got better and better and better. And then when they've got kind of, you know, the second and third players that you've got in Erratic and in Krellig, it's difficult to say that you're going to just go in and immediately beat them, because regardless of how well AGSB have been playing, Cross Keys are going to turn around and provide a fresh, shall we say, play style. Because this is one team with a really high-level player and then two not-so-high-level players to back up the brilliance of their top man. And that's something where we might see a bit more defense coming out from two of the players, and then just a hyper-aggressive third man. So this is going to be an incredible match. Yeah. But if it's all good with you, and it's all good with me, I wouldn't mind getting and seeing them.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind doing that either. Let us know in the chat who you're rooting for. Is it going to be AGSB or is it going to be Cross Keys? But let's get into our first match of the day. Before we actually do, if you want to get the teams all good to go, my man, I want your predictions. Best of 5 series. Winner goes on to the semi-final up here on stream next. Who's it going to be in 5 games?
I think it's definitely a difficult one. AGSB definitely have the experience and probably the kind of caliber of play, but I've got to go in this case for Cross Keys, and I'm going to go with a 3-2 victory.
3-2 victory for Cross Keys is Killsynk's prediction. I'll go the other way. I'll say AGSB. Just looking at the results, both of the teams in their respective last seasons of the league came 3rd and 4th, so some teams with some caliber, some results behind them, so let's see how they get on in the double elimination bracket today. 8 teams start, 4 teams will progress to the main event in a couple of weeks' time. Take on the 4 teams that have already qualified, so we'll start out a fairly slow-paced game at the start. A couple of chances for AGSB in the start of this game, but Tails going for net here. A player who you've picked out, Killsynk. What's so good about Tails? What makes him such a great player?
I think it's honestly the lack of care. It's the fact that Tails is the kind of player that even if the ball looks out of reach, Tails somehow finds a way to be there for it in every situation. Now, sometimes that can lead to double commits and whatnot, but more often than not, the precision of his play tends to favour his team.
Well, he almost managed to get a goal for his team. Actually, it was rather Cross Keys managed to almost getting a goal on the board right to the start, but 4Ks will deny that. Now Noodles try to play out of his own half. Erratic here on the right hand side now will be beaten out by DK18, or Gorilla as his name would suggest. He will go for net, in fact, just got a little bit wide. And no real good chances here at the start of game number 1. I think Cross Keys with the only real good chance, but there's Noodles round the left hand side putting the first goal in.
Yeah, and that was just, shall we say, a slow transition out from defense. It's an unfortunate not to get the touch from Krellig, but Noodles making no mistake. Demo comes out, really does blind Tails. No real chance to save that one, and Noodles opening the scoreboard. 3 minutes 17 left, though. Everything still to play for, obviously.
And plenty to play for in the series as well. It's not a 5-game series. It's a long, long time to play, but here comes Erratic right off the kickoff. Noodles with an excellent save. able to pinch that one away, and you can see that Crosskeys, they've been wanting to be the aggressive team more often than AGSB have, but still no goal to their name. And you can see that right off the kickoff, they want to get right back into the game. They don't want to be playing out of their own half, they want to be all up in the face of the blue half of the team. But Gorilla will go for goal, gets past one, but Tails able to send it back into the path of 4X, who gets a save out by, I don't know how you say that name. Is it Shaugarwaran? Is how I'm going to attempt to say that name. Do you know how you say that? I have no idea.
It's Krillin.
Oh, you don't even need to say his name because Tails is going to put one in to tie it up.
We definitely don't need to say his name. Fought straight into the path of Tails. And I don't even know if Tails touched it again, to be honest. He actually didn't. So from the initial 50 on the sidewall, the rest of that was just, shall we say, unfortunate mishaps on the sides of AGSB. And credit has gone to Tails for the goal. But I think Tails will take it at this point in time.
He probably would. I wouldn't doubt it at all. But hey, a goal's a goal, no matter how much it ricochets off the other team and how less of a goal it makes yours. But hey ho, it's your name that comes up on the score sheet at the end of the day. Here comes Erratic though, trying to play over, but he'll get beaten out by the defense. And now Noodles try to take it up the left-hand side. And the back and forth in defenses here. Here comes Shirel, Welshman. He looks like a very Welsh name. That's the only explanation I could. It looks like Kimbra, but that doesn't matter. The defense isn't there, but a great passing play gets Gorilla in scoring position.
I feel like you should talk about his name every single time because a goal gets scored, but it's a fantastic pass in from Noodles, just taking the slight dribble, managing to find the infield pass to DK, and DK making no mistakes, finishing off that goal and increasing the lead again, taking the lead in this game by 1.
I'm going to end up saying his name differently every single time, and every time a goal is going to go in either way. Could say it's 100% goal participation from him, but hey, it's 2-1 in against them. Here comes Tails trying to get into the middle for Charcoal. Charcoal? I don't know. It's a 5-game series. I'm going to have to come up with some way of saying that weird Welsh name. But right now, Killsync, it's really back and forth, and these guys are playing to their fundamentals, rotating where they can, but sometimes these unexpected passing plays are beating the defenses.
Yeah, they really are, and I think one of the most important things I've seen so far, especially with regards to how AGSB are playing, they are keeping at least 1, maybe 2 players back, even when they're progressing onto an attack, and that's something that we didn't see from AGSB facing off against the uni teams. But this could be a mistake from Forks, but manages to clear that one out.
Luckily enough, it looked like it was heading straight for the back of his own net. Still 2-1 lead for AGSB. Oh, there goes Charcoal. Almost even... Go on. I'm going to say go on. That's it. Go on, son. That's it. At the end of the day. But
go on, son.
Go on, go on, son. Go on, son. 20 seconds to go. And it's still Crosskeys on the back foot, trying to play out of their own half now. AGSB keep looking to keep the pressure on here and secure the victory here in game number 1. They're all pinched down to their own half of the field. 10 seconds left. Can Forks clear that one away? He does, and now there's going to have to be a full court carry for the Crosskey guys. Erratic will go up for this. Noodles challenges, keeps it deep in orange territory, and it drops to the floor, and we have ourselves a winner in game 1.
Yeah, and AGSB just managing to close out that game. But I think it's got to be said, obviously, Krusky's only goal come in the way of a bit of a mishap, it's got to be said, on AGSB's defense. And that was really the only, shall I say, worrying opportunity that Krusky's had. And what I mean by worrying is an opportunity where, you know, the defense came out and it was, oh, what a save. There weren't really any of those moments that came out, and that's something that you need to have if you're going to beat a team like AGSB. You need to be pressuring them on defense, because although we can see 6 saves come in the way of AGSB, it didn't feel like 6 saves, and that's kind of the most important thing, is that they need to feel like they're making those defensive plays, and at the moment it's just not doing that. If you're Crosskeys, you've got to be going into the next match and saying, right, yeah, we've been putting shots on target, but they're not dangerous. We're not troubling them. We're just kind of giving possession away. Maybe now's the time to take a step back, play it a little bit slower out from the defense, and just try and bait in a couple of those AGSB players.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. There's not really a point where either team was really taking over. Both teams had their chances. They weren't really creating the opportunities. They were letting chances come to them and just playing defense, playing pretty much standard Rocket League in that first game. So not too many standouts from that, just a couple of mistakes in the defense which allowed the 3 goals to eventually head on in. But we'll go into game number 2 now, and really coming into this game number 2, we want to see teams stepping up, or players stepping up, and for me, Tails has been looking like that player who's stepping up as we... Is this a false start, or I don't know if we're playing? Who? Everyone's just not going off the kickoff. What on earth? I think we're playing now.
I think the game's in motion, but I'm not.
See,
I'm not entirely sure. That was the most.
Yeah, usually when we see something like that, it's usually a player disconnected and it's like, oh, hold on, we'll restart. But everyone's playing now. But anyway, back to the point I was trying to make. For me, Tails looks like the person from Crosskeys who needs to step up. But Noodles, he's been putting work in here in game 1 and now in game 2.
Yeah, and it's that DK Noodles kind of connection that has been quite lethal for AGSB. That's not to say that, Fork doesn't do his role. Fork is arguably probably one of the most incredible players for this AGSB team. But the point is that Noodles and DK, they just connect so well, they play so well that they are able to keep this team in it. But yeah, you are right. We do expect to see Crosskeys step up a little bit here, but Tails coming in with an absolutely killer save there.
Yeah, if he didn't get to that one quickly, it could have been an easy fake for Forks. We'll head back down to the blue half of the field and we'll have AGSB play out of their own half. No real team controlling the middle of the pitch. Like I said, it is really back and forth, and usually in Rocket League these days you see one team or at a time really push up, control the midfield, but that's an open net. Oh, just gets in the way, does Noodles of Goan. Back into the orange half it will go. So no real team holding the midfield means no real sustained pressure. But now Noodles with this half rotate, looking to get it off the backboard. Had no boost to get to it though. Couldn't fall on it.
Yeah, and it's I like what I'm seeing from Crosskeys. I like the fact that they're allowing this kind of pressure to come on, because eventually AGSB are going to definitely over-rotate here. They're going to overcommit, and they'll probably find an easy goal come in their way. But they've got to start relieving the pressure a little bit sooner. They can't allow too many shots to go on target, because they really are almost denying themselves boost at this point in time.
Absolutely, but now you can see Crosskeys trying to move into the blue half of the field, but as soon as the one shot goes towards net, they just rotate out. Maybe it's the safe option to do, but when you're a game down, now a goal down, you need to be maybe a little bit risky every now and again. So I want to see Crosskeys really push up the field a little bit more. Here comes Erratic now. Tails will pick that one up towards net. It will go, but it will just bounce very favourably in the favour of Forks. And now that's an open net to work with. Doesn't manage to get it, but Noodles with the rebound gets it back in for the 2-0 lead.
Yeah, and this was a great decision from Noodles to wait in the midfield and just try and get that pass back to Forks. Forks was unfortunate to not get the initial goal, but Noodles made no mistake in the follow-up. And this is what you need. I mean, if it remains like this, I'm going to start to maybe switch on what I was saying. We could potentially see a sweep coming out from AGSB, because at the moment, they're just playing so precise and just so calculated that everything they do feels like the right decision.
It really does, and Crosskeys, like I said, just not aggressing and not working as a team. You see usually Tails going up for a play, getting into position for his team to score, but both of his teammates are way back in defense or in the midfield with no boost. So they're really getting caught out when AGSB get at least one save, and that's really all they need to do. Get one save, and then they can play it out their own half. But this is a bouncing ball. Looked like it might have been on target for Crosskey Kings. But that one's going to be a wide open net as well. Where's the defense here? No one's home. Crosskey thought they had a wide open net, but the counter-attack from AGSB works out.
Yeah, and this is one of those moments where you've been waiting so patiently for 3 minutes of the match to try and find your own counter-attacking goal, and then you almost force your own overcommit. The lack of rotation coming out from all of the players, it's got to be said, on the Crosskey esports team. And unfortunately, it does lead to an easy open goal, but this is an overcommit, and this is an opportunity. Just a bit too hard to pass.
Absolutely. So we want to see Crosskeys, like we've been saying all game, just push up a little bit more, take a couple of more chances. There's a follow-up from Guan. from the middle of the field, but nothing doing, just straight into a defender, and the counter-attack so deadly from AGSB. Works out again for Noodles.
It works out perfectly, and DK managing to steal that boost away from Tails. Erratic going for the save, gets the save, but Noodles just predicting that so easily. At that point in time, if you're Noodles, all you've got to do is just throw yourself in the way of where the potential clear might come, and just pray, just hope that you're going to get the goal. And that's exactly how they're credited. And at this point in time, a minute 30 left. Do you think?
Oh,
do you
my
think
goodness,
that Crosskeys can still make it back from a 5-goal deficit?
Oh, I'm gonna say no on this one. And that's a pinch with Gawan. He went up for the 50-50 with Noodles, and Noodles just... Some might call it lucky, some might call it calculated. Everyone will call it a goal, though. 5-0 for AGSB here in game number 2. After a very close and very hard-fought game number 1. It's just a complete blowout now here in game 2, and Crosskey's struggling to look for answers.
Yeah, Crosskeys, I don't really think they have too much in the way of answers, but that's going to be a good pass. That is the glimmer of hope that they needed. That is just something that they hadn't found all game, and then a fantastic pass from Erratic, and Krillig fortunately there to find the shot, and that is what we were hoping to see.
Yeah, well, maybe the comeback's on, minute 5 to find 4. It's been done before, probably. And maybe not in this competition, not this time, not when Forks is dribbling like a madman from the midfield. Just piling on the points now is Forks.
Yeah, Forks there. I mean, you see Forks, you see the little title that he's got, Soloist, and that is exactly why the title is on. Because in situations like that, Fork is just so unbelievably lethal if you give him a one-on-one opportunity. And if you give him a chance to flick like that, he's going to pass it to a teammate to score. You've got to be sending somebody up, and you've got to be saving that. But maybe they're just looking to reset this game.
Just maybe, but 51 seconds to go, and you've been Braziled here in game number 2. That is not the start to this campaign that you've been wanting if you're Crosskeys Kings. Man alive.
Yeah, this is... it's difficult. I mean, beforehand I said that these Crosskey teams, maybe they'd need to, try and find some passing plays, try and stick a man back in defense. This might be a double touch. Oh, my word. Sorry, almost silenced by Noodle's perfection there, but... at this point in time, Crosskeys, just go for shots. Just try and find your momentum. Try and find something, because at this point, whatever they're doing just doesn't seem to be working.
Well, maybe they'll have to just come up with a new plan of action at the break, and I don't imagine AGSB want to score anymore. They've got the Brazil, the ultimate BM that you can get in Rocket League. Here comes Tails, trying to make something work in the last 5 seconds, but the save from DK will just tumble back into the corner here. They'll keep it up as much as possible. Rule 1 in effect, but it doesn't matter at the end of the day. AGSB 2-0 up in the series now.
Yeah, and AGSB, they are looking the dominant force. I mean, 6 goals coming out from Noodles and 5 assists from the teammates. So, this isn't even just a single solo performance. This is a performance that requires the entire team, and it's working so well. But Noodles at this point in time, this is a disgusting performance. This is just one of those ones where you turn around and you say, wow, yeah, that is the epitome of playing perfectly, to be honest. And Crosskey, if they're going to have a retaliation to this, at this point, I just think just throw yourself in front of the ball, because what is the worst that can happen? I mean, it's just been 7-1. You've got to try and find some goals. The only way you're going to do that is if you stop AGSB advancing, because giving them that much time to transition to defense to offense, you're going to get scored.
Absolutely. And I was talking about holding the midfield, and no one was really doing that, but you saw AGSB. A lot of the time, they were just holding back and letting Crosskey come to them, and Crosskey were just completely overcommitting, and nothing was working for them. They were getting counter-attacked all the time. The server has gone down for maintenance, which is fantastic to see. It's about right.
That's about right.
Well, right now, Crosskey's Kings are down for maintenance. That they need to go back to the drawing board about what they were doing, because it was just not working for them. So, like we said, we want to see them be aggressive, but they're pushing all 3 men at the same time. Maybe push 2, leave 1 back, half rotate through the midfield, apply the pressure to the AGSB half of the field, because you're sending one shot towards net and then you're rotating out and just letting them get the save and not really doing much with it. So you're taking these chances that you're getting but not following up on them. They're just getting shot, rotate, shot, rotate, shot, rotate, and nothing's going into the net.
Yeah, and it's an issue you have, and I mean, it's something that when you get past the school level, it's not so much of an issue, because you can tend to find teammates that are roughly the same ability, like if you go to university, for example. But when you're at school, you are forced to play with the players that you've got. Now, some of those might not be who you gel well with, who you mix well with, and it's one of those unfortunate situations that if you can't face off against a team, if you can't face off against an opponent, you're going to get beat. This Crosskey team, they're a fantastic team that is not well equipped to deal with AGSB. Now, if you have a massive pool of players to choose from, you can turn around and say, right, you'll be good against this team in this game, you'll be good against this team in this game. You guys gel well together. And you can just kind of fit in a different kind of lineup. But when you're at school, you've got, more often than not, you've got 3 players, and 3 players only to choose from. If it's not a team that can beat a team, that's it. It's as simple as that. It's just one of those unfortunate facts of life. Now, AGSB, they're good and they're great, and they have shown that so far. But Crosskey have not shown us the brilliance that I know they're capable of at the moment. And I'm patiently waiting to see if that comes out.
Yeah, well, remember, if whoever loses this, whether it is Crosskeys or if they do make the miraculous comeback, and it will be miraculous if it happens, to beat AGSB, the winner of this will actually be going on to play Don't Panic. That result has came through. They beat Felsted Esports 3-0. The loser of this will go down and face off against Felsted Esports in the lower bracket. So it's not all over whoever loses this, but really Crosskeys want every opportunity they can get up in this upper bracket. And against AGSB, nothing's working out for them. That's a great upfield pass. Noodle's in great position, and his teammates following up on that. Just the teamwork that you see from AGSB is putting Crosskeys to shame right now.
Yeah, and it's indicative of, shall we say, a mismatch in capabilities, really. I mean, just look at that. The demo play to the pass play to the goal. It's just sublime.
The chemistry between these guys is sublime. And I mean, you talked about it in the break there, Kelsink, that about how these guys might gel with each other, how they might not gel with each other, and because they're forced to play with people from the same schools, might not always be the best working out for that. But these guys from AGSB, they are working so well together as a team. But as I say that, Gowan has his first goal of the game that he's actually been involved in, and it goes for his name, 1-1.
Yeah, this is what we wanted. We wanted that pressure. We wanted them to stop the transition from defense to offense too quickly. We didn't want them to keep rotating out. And Tails, you just see the aggression and almost, I suppose, the panic in realizing, we could go 3-0, like we could go 0-3 here. And they don't want that. So they're just absolutely piling on the pressure. Tails, we might see a bit of a solo play coming out now. Absolutely no issue whatsoever.
Oh, you were talking about Tails before we even started this matchup, and he's finally come to life. Looking like the replays that we saw in the video right at the start. Tails busting out that lovely little dribble flick and puts his team in the lead for the very first time here in this matchup. Could this be the opening that Crosskeys needs, and Crosskeys have this opportunity and this momentum now? Might inspire a little bit of confidence. I imagine Tails in communications with them right now saying, let's go, let's get this. And now you can see they're starting to move as a team. Here comes Gowan on a dribble play. Erratic will shoot, but it'll just go high. But now you can see Crosskeys starting to pressure more, and they're holding on to the ball at the very least.
They are, but still now, this pressure is relentless from this Crosskeys team. They don't want to allow any sort of momentum to shift against them, because they actually have, for the first time in the entire series, they have the run of play, and that's surprising. We might even see a nice double touch coming the way of Erratic. Not quite able to find the second touch, but yeah, this is a completely different Crosskeys than we saw in the first 2 games.
Don't know if they've just picked up the controllers and given them to their older brother or something, but it does certainly seem that Crosskeys have new life here in game number 3. Erratic with an erratic save of his own, just straight into the path of Noodles. Fortunately enough for the defense, not able to capitalize as Noodles, but now comes the tell that we've not really seen from Cross Keys. They have the lead. Can they keep it? Because their defense hasn't been all that, especially when they've been overcommitting. But you can see now that they've been listening to our advice, Kills. I don't think they're overcommitting too much, but that's a great shot from Guan. Just goes a little bit high. Could have easily sneaked into the top right corner, but now with AGSB having to play sustained offense, they're not really getting anything past this Cross Keys defense.
No, they're not. And you're right. It does feel as if they've been listening. They're keeping a player back now. And they're sending 2 up. They're sending 1 up. And they're just letting, those slight over-rotations, the misplays come out from AGSB. And it's working for them. And it's what you expect to see. And it's really nice, actually, because it looks as though we're still going to potentially see more goals coming through for this Cross Keys team. But not if plays like that happen. This could be risky.
Very good save and a very effective follow-up from Gowan as he hit it into the path of DK, but he was able to pinch that one away and send it safe into the blue half of the net. But DK will take the shot onto net. Erratic with the last-minute clutch save there. But now AGSB, you see them pushing up, try to get as much sustained pressure as possible. Nice little flick up to Noodles off the backboard. It will go, and Forks with the follow-up ties the game.
Yeah, and this stems from a brilliant play from Forks, a fantastic backflip, just heading it over. Noodles finding that sweet spot on the top corner of the wall. The waterfall, as I call it, drops down perfectly for Forks. And even if you've got 3 defenders in goal, defending against that is always so difficult because you've got to pre-jump early, and then you've got to hope that you don't score an own goal. And that in my opinion, is one of the most difficult things to deal with in that situation.
No own goal this time, but it does tie this game up at 2-2. AGSB looking to claw themselves back into it and put the 3-0 on the board that they've been wanting to do really from the outset, and that 7-1 in the last game really proves that they just want this over and done with. They want to go through and face Don't Panic in our semi-final that we're going to, or excuse me, our qualifying match I should say. Whoever wins the next game between Don't Panic and the winner of this one will qualify for the main event in a few weeks' time. Cross Keys want to keep themselves in the series. 40 seconds to go. Overtime hanging over our heads here on DFH Stadium. Tails picking this up, looking to try and get it, but he's got no boost. Well, able to flick it over one attacker, but Forks with the follow-up and gets it there for himself. Noodles with the follow-up, no defenders in sight. And for the first time, AGSB have the lead in this game.
Yeah, and it's so unfortunate because Cross Keys were doing so well at not overcommitting and not double committing, and then that one double commit, and it is pretty much one of the first real ones that we've seen in this game, costs them so dearly. The pass over the top, absolutely fantastic. The defense not really able to deal with it off the sidewall too well. We might be seeing Tails tying up the game though, and we've still got a game on our hands as Tails equalizes. We
thought it might have been all over there and then with the 3-2 lead, but the kickoff performance from Cross Keys Kings and Tails with the follow-up, absolutely phenomenal. And he's able to follow up his own man's pinch out of the kickoff. But here comes DK18 looking for a kickoff goal of his own. But now we're back to evens. AGSB do not want to go to overtime because they feel that Cross Keys might have the momentum right off that kickoff goal. They're looking to get it, the 4th goal on the board. Someone will get a 4th goal, but it is going to have to be decided in overtime by the looks of things. It will touch down, and extra time has been reached.
Yeah, this is impressive. This is good to see, especially coming off of the back of a 7-1 loss. This is what we've got to bear in mind is, AGSB, they didn't just come in with the momentum for this game. They came in with everything for this game. 7-1 is the kind of victory that, you hear about the Brazils all the time, but what you don't expect is to see a Brazil in a match that actually holds importance. And when you do see it, it just goes to show that a team has all the momentum. To then lose that, for it to be shifted in the balance, it's good. It shows promise, and it shows that Cross Keys, I reckon they might actually take this game. I reckon there's that possibility.
Well, 30 seconds gone of overtime and still no closer to finding a winner. Although it does appear that Cross Keys want to be the more aggressive team here in overtime, and a miss there from DK was fortunately followed up by Noodles for AGSB. No Cross Keys players really aggressing too far onto that. They want to play it safe because, as we saw towards the end of regulation, they were up, and then they just kind of fell apart when they were overcommitting. They weren't content. They wanted extra goals to put themselves at least 2 ahead, but that's when it kind of fell down for them, and AGSB were able to counter-attack on that. Here comes Tails, though. Plenty of boost, but Noodles on the backboards, and Guan will keep this deep in enemy territory, but you can see here Cross Keys are firing on all cylinders, and there's Guan with the follow-up. A minute 21 gone in overtime, and Cross Keys finally have a game on the boards.
Yeah, that was completely deserved in that game as well, it's got to be said. They shifted the momentum so well. And more importantly, for that past, I've got to say, maybe 30 seconds, it might have even been longer, it almost felt like the ball didn't leave the top quarter of the pitch. I'm not even talking about that half. I mean the entire quarter. That whole time, the ball just remained there. That was a performance and a half. That was the one that Krosky needed to step up and say, right, yeah, we do have something we can show. We do have something we can prove. But there's a stat in there that to me is unbelievably important, and that is Tails' 100% involvement rate with the goals. 100%. 2 goals, 2 assists. That just highlights how important Tails is to the offense of this Cross-Key team. Even if his teammates are playing well, he's still needed there to create those chances. His teammates play well when Tails plays well. And this is the game that proved that. And I'm just hoping now Erratic can also find that little bit of momentum to get a goal, to get an assist, just so everybody can have some
I completely agree with you on that. And I mean, we were talking about Tails before the matchup even started. But one member of the team from Crosskey that I thought really came to fruition in that game was really Guan. Because we didn't really talk about his... Well, we mentioned his name, tried to mention his name in the first couple of games. We tried to say his name. We still can't pronounce it properly. Probably not even pronouncing it right now. But he was quite quiet in the first couple of games. And not really putting on a great performance for Cross Keys. But he was a key member of the comeback and really the retaliation in that last game for Cross Keys. He was putting Tails in possession. He was setting up everybody else, and he got a couple of goals on his own as well.
Yeah, and it's completely true, and I'm hoping to see more of that as well. And like I said, I'm hoping to see that more from Erratic. But what I am hoping to see massively is the amount of pressure that Crosskey put on in that final 30 seconds of the overtime. I want to still see that, because whether you win or lose, that is excitement. That is great Rocket League to watch.
It certainly has been. Nice play of Rocket League here. Well, back in game number 3 for Crosskeys. Can they keep up here in game number 4? Upper bracket life on the line as AGSB only need that one to go through and face Don't Panic in our qualifier match that we're going to see right after this one. But you can see Crosskeys picking up where they left off. Just a lot of pressure going onto this onto this blue net rather, and Guan with the first goal in under a minute.
Yeah, and that is a great pass, and again, great decision to just keep the pressure on. And Krillig Guan, we'll call him Guan just for the sake of it. I'm gonna go with you. But that's a fantastic shot to go up that early as well, and to trust in yourself to be able to get that. That's a good start, and they take the lead early in this game at number 4.
They do, and they want more right off the kickoff. Pressure applied straight back to the AGSB net. And trying to play out of their own half, Noodles will send it straight into Tails, and Guan there to run interference. You can see Cross Kings. This is what they've been really trying to do all series long. Yes, they've been aggressing and pushing a lot of people upfield, and they've been getting counter-attack time after time, but now they're hitting their shots, they're keeping possession of the ball, and AGSB are really stuffed back in their own half right now. But here comes a shot from Noodles, the breakout from him, and ties the game.
Yeah, Noodles there making absolutely no mistakes. It's got to be said, Tails, slight overcommit. Didn't need to rotate that far. Should have been sitting back post, but it doesn't matter too much. Still got cleared out of the way by DK, I think it was, and it was a great bump removing that final defender, and it was a fantastic shot from Noodles.
It was actually Erratic who came and bumped away Guan, because Guan was dribbling with the ball, and all members of Cross Key Kings just came flying towards this, or their left-hand side of the field where the ball was. Just bumped Guan, but no defense in sight that time. Last man can't get to it, and all of a sudden AGSB are 2 goals to 1 up.
Yeah, and this is one of the problems with sending arguably your best man to attack with limited boost and keeping, I'm not saying the worst player, but what I'm saying is the lowest of the 3, which is Erratic at the moment. Keeping Erratic back as the solo defender, because the pressure there is just a little bit too much.
It is, but a rallying Cross Keys Kings right now. And they do get one off this play. Guan finds the gap in defense and ties this one up. Where was the defense here? Oh, Forks. It was just a mistouch off the backboard. He was looking to clear it long, but dumps it down, and Guan right on it.
Yeah, and it's a great shot from Guan there. I'm also going to give credit, even though DK missed the save there and missed the challenge, I've still got to give credit to him for going up and jumping for that, because that's something that a lot of players almost get a little bit too scared to do. And it's something that with more and more practice, going up for those early, practicing actually challenging them in difficult situations, that is how you improve as a player.
They do, but oh my goodness, where's the defense here? Oh, Erratic. So lucky to get away with that one, because everyone was cleared out of net. Oh my goodness, what on earth? Just absolute chaos in the orange half of the field. Killsync, what the hell happened?
Yeah, I honestly could not tell you what's just gone on there. That is some questionable rotations that has led to a very questionable defensive display. But at this point in time, if you cross keys, you've just got to kind of reset, look back and say, right, you know, we're still in this. It's only a goal. We've come back from worse than this before. And I mean, they have. Look at last game. They managed to take it to overtime and still take the victory. So it's something they'll be looking to do again. But they've just got to make sure they get that last little display out of their heads.
Me, just common mistakes that can easily be fixed. And I suppose it comes from AGSB just forcing those errors as well. Just forcing cross keys out of net, putting them in awkward situations. And then just the own goal, which it really was an own goal at the end of the day, that last one. For Cross Keys, puts them a goal behind now. AGSB can really just sit back, relax, and let the goals come to them as it did in the first couple of games. But there goes Forks looking for one of his own. Off the right-hand side of the wall, DK will keep pressure deep in orange territory. Tails able to send that over to Erratic, but you can see now AGSB looking to come a little bit further upfield, kind of like Cross Keys has been doing, but now with a little bit more precision, just keeping this ball deep in orange territory. But we'll leave for the moment, and Forks will come out here with no boost, and away it goes. And just this back and forth, we saw it in game 1, just the back and forth between these two teams, but you can see AGSB playing such a high line, and they're not letting Cross Keys have any opportunity towards net, except that one. Go on from the right hand side. DK with the excellent save.
Yeah, that was almost a great shot. And the one thing that I've started to pick up from this Cross Keys team, and it's sad to say, but I've unfortunately got to say I can understand it, and that is there is now a modicum of distrust from some of the players on the Cross Keys team, and it's for reasons like that. Unfortunately, DK, great shot. Forks, great pass off onto the side to DK. But here we see Erratic maybe should have got a touch on that. It would have made all the difference, but it goes rocketing over the final defender, and there's nothing you can do when you're in goal there.
Nothing you can do except sit back and be a passenger to the passing plays that we've seen from AGSB throughout this series. Really talked about them being much more put together team, and their chemistry has been so much better than we've seen from Cross Keys, and that's pulls off to perfection in that last one. But 23 seconds left now. Tails looking towards net, bounces it off the floor. Forks able to read it, but it's still dangerous. Noodles will clear it to safety in the left hand side, and it looks like AGSB will be the ones to go through. 10 seconds remaining. Gowan will try one last ditch effort towards the blue net. That one pings back. Once this hit triple zeros, you can't hit score 2, and this one will drop down, and AGSB will be confirmed going through to face Don't Panic in the qualifier match coming up right now.
Yeah, no, I've actually got to say, you know, AGSB, we've seen what they were capable of on stream earlier in the week, and we knew that they were great. We only really knew a little bit about Cross Keys, And clearly it wasn't enough to know that, AGSB were going to come out the dominant team there. AGSB just at every kind of point in time, at every moment on the pitch, really did, as sad as it is to say, just outshine Cross Keys. And that is something that you can't afford to happen too much. If you let that happen, if you let the aggression come on, if you let the shots come on, eventually a team is going to beat you. I mean, we saw it from Cross Keys in the overtime to win their only game of the series. They just went absolutely all in, and I think going into that last match they needed to do the same thing if they were going to come away with a victory, but it did feel as though the rotations kind of fell apart. But it's to be expected. I mean, the caliber between the caliber difference between all of the players on the Cross Keys Kings team is just so dramatic and so far that maybe there's just too much of a difference between them all to work well and gel as well as AGSB.
Yeah, it really does seem that way, and unfortunately for Cross Keys, yes, they retaliated in game number 3, but the pressure was just too much for them in the end, and I think the better team did win out in the end, and they're going to go and face Don't Panic in our next game. Meanwhile, Cross Keys are going to drop down to the lower bracket, as we said earlier. They're going to be facing off against Felstead Esports in the lower bracket. Lose and you are out of that one. Win and you've got another opportunity at qualifying, but don't go anywhere. We have more Rocket League action coming up for you here on Rocket Kingdom TV. Next up on stream, we have, as we said, it's going to be a qualifying match. Don't Panic versus ASGB. Can they keep up the momentum? We'll find out after this. AGSB, that's Forks, DK18 and Noodles. You just saw them up against Cross Keys, yes, as I check my notes. Yep. Very, very subtly. Welcome back to Rocket Kingdom TV and the British Esports Association All-Star Showdown. My name's Craftman RL. That over that way is Killsync. Hello, buddy. As we just seen, we've just seen AGSB taking on Cross Keys Esports, or Cross Keys Kings, excuse me, and they managed to knock them down to the lower bracket in a 3-1 series that Killsync, I know you weren't really expecting it. You thought that Cross Keys were going to put on a better performance than that.
I did feel like they were going to put on a better performance. I felt like it would be significantly closer than what it was. I at least hoped that I'd see a Cross Keys, the performance they put in game number 3, I think it was. I was hoping to see that consistently throughout. It wasn't something we did see. It's just one of those days, unfortunately, for AGSB. Not for AGSB, sorry, for Cross Keys. And for AGSB, I mean, they played fantastic. When we watched them play midweek, they didn't even play as good as they just played then. That's saying something. So, you know, I thought we'd seen a good team then, and then we saw our team outperform and already outperformed expectations. So that was pretty incredible. But it doesn't matter, because regardless of how well they played against Cross Keys, they've now got another Titan in their way in Don't Panic. Now that, as far as I've been told, and I don't know how true this is, because this is just information that's obviously been given to us, but apparently AGSB have not dropped a series against Don't Panic. Now, if that's true, and statistics hold firm, then it's an AGSB victory. But
wow.
We don't know if that's going to be the case, do we?
Exactly. I mean, in this high-pressure situation now it's a qualifying game. You've got to take on this Don't Panic team, who are a phenomenal roster as well. But as we're talking about Don't Panic, let's see what they're capable of. Here's their intro video. And awesome. Are these guys going to be awesome, Killsync? I mean, just looking at the results, they came second in Season 4, losing out to Sunderland Sears in the Grand Final 3-4. And they put up some good results in the versus Unis match at BAA versus NSE. So what is this team capable of, Killsync, and how might they face up against the AGSB side that we just saw?
I mean, I've got to say that I've seen this Don't Panic team play, and it was really actually quite refreshing, because it was the first time that I've seen we say ultra aggressive player in Sushi. In my opinion, it was less ultra aggression and more just sheer perfection. It was brilliant, and I loved seeing it. It's something that some people favor the defensive play, some people favor the midfield control, and some people favor the absolute barrage and onslaught of shot after shot after shot. And I love seeing teams like that. And Don't Panic is sometimes the team that can really provide that, especially when you've got Tommy and Awesome just feeding Sushi, and then Sushi's just like munching up the competition, and it's just straight in, and it's a battering of shots. And that's actually what I hope and what I'm expecting to see from Don't Panic. But if AGSB performed the way they performed just then, who's to say they could just stop the onslaught?
Yeah, I mean, we saw it with Crosskey. They went downfield quite a lot of the time. If Don't Panic are going to play that similar style of play where they're just being ultra hyper aggressive, AGSB have got a really good counter-attack game behind them, so it's going to be an interesting, real chess game. I think this one's going to be. Obviously, I think we're going to see a lot of play down in the AGSB half if if what you're saying is holds true, and Don't Panic are just going to go bang, bang, bang downfield. Let's get going. But I want your prediction for this one, Killsync. The high progression of Don't Panic or the counter-attacking ability of AGSB? Who qualifies for the main event?
I think it's... I personally think Don't Panic will take this one, but I can honestly say wholeheartedly, I don't think it's going to matter who wins this game, because obviously whoever loses this gets dropped straight down into the lower bracket and has the chance to win. And these two teams are so exceptional, they've both got the possibility to win the next game regardless.
Definitely so, but Don't Panic with an early opportunity. A couple of early opportunities. Great play in back by Tommy, looking for Awesome there, but he wasn't able to turn around right in time, and we're hot-footing it into this game at number 1 of Don't Panic versus AGSB. I'm going to keep getting that acronym wrong. I really am. But Noodles this time.
We're trying though.
We are trying. We are trying. I mean, what was? I can't remember what it was. It doesn't matter. Forks has scored a goal for AGSB. That's the right acronym this time.
Yeah, and it was the battle of the foods. Noodles beating out Sushi for the pass infield to Forks, and Forks using exactly that, scooping up the Noodles and getting the goal. Fantastic opener in just over 30 seconds, and it's a great start to the game.
Yeah, and the Ultraman Grammar School for Boys are loving to see that one. Hopefully they're watching from their the safety of their quarantines right now. Hope you're all staying safe out there as well as you're watching Arcade TV here. But a good start for AGSB, and I mean, we saw it right off the bat as well, Killsync. You talked about Don't Panic being a really aggressive team, and they had a couple of shots early on, but AGSB, their defense holding up well. Yeah,
and it likewise, both things that we kind of said beforehand kind of happened, is that, you know, if they can stop the onslaught and the barrage of shots that comes in, then yeah, they'll have a good chance of getting counterattacks in. And it's exactly pretty much what they did. They boost starved to the max, and then that's a trip up on the goal though. Oh, Forks, you feel bad. You could see it. You could see it in Tommy's camera perspective, but that is just so unfortunate.
Oh, you absolute numpty, Forks. Go. Oh, this. I mean, there's so many times where we've done that in rank. Come, get the boost from the corner and then go to goal, and then you just trip up as you're rolling yourself round the wall. Oh my goodness, could have easily been a second goal straight off the back for Sushi, but Awesome not able to follow that one up. But now DK able to play out of his own half. That's a loose ball in the middle. We relieved by Forks for the moment, but that defensive mishap is going to be weighing heavy on his mind, especially now that Don't Panic are really making AGSB panic in defense. But the defense is nowhere to be seen for Don't Panic, and the counter-attack for AGSB works out once again.
Yeah, I think this is just going to be a battle of the counter-attacks, if I'm completely honest with you, especially from the side of AGSB. AGSB at this point, they're well aware that Don't Panic are an aggressive team. So with aggressive teams, if you're not converting at least 90% of the opportunities you're taking, realistically, you're going to get scored on a lot in counterattacks, and that's exactly what's happening. But I'm just hoping to see maybe Don't Panic step back ever so slightly, just relieve the pressure just a bit, because the pressure that they're continuing to put on AGSB is actually just increasing the pressure they put on themselves to try and get back on defense.
Well, let's see how they hold up coming into the second half of game number 1 here. Noodles with a great demo, leaves the net wide open, gets the second demo onto Awesome, but no follow-up is given for AGSB. There's a great opportunity created there by Noodles, but not able to capitalize are the guys from Altrincham. Exactly 2.5 minutes gone, 2.5 to go, and still not really any opportunities for Don't Panic. AGSB are really holding the midfield and making them play out their own half.
It's one of those situations where you've got to demo the right player. It doesn't matter if you demo 2. If you're not going to get Sushi out of defense, you may as well just leave all 3 in. Sushi's such a capable aggressor and defender that, you know, if there's one person on that pitch I really wouldn't be faced up against in defense, it's probably Sushi, because Sushi just has that overall capability. It's great to watch.
We'll see how he marinates throughout the rest of this food-based series by the looks of things. So we've got Sushi and Noodles, of course, as you said.
And we've got the fork to munch it all up with.
Looking like Noodles trying to spin his way into defense there. Fork's trying to put a fork in it, and I'm trying to come up with as many puns as possible. It's not really working out for me, really.
I'm sure we'll come up with some more great ones by the end of the series.
Stick with us here on Rocket Kingdom TV as we take you through the rest of the Rocket League action today. Here comes Noodles with a big shot from his own half. Minute 20 to go. It will be put into the corner by Tommy, and you can see that Don't Panic have really started to fall back a little bit. They're not being as aggressive as we saw them in the first really 30 to 40 seconds of this game, where they were just ultra aggressive, trying to get as many shots as possible, but now they're playing out their own half, and that's really due to AGSB holding this midfield and controlling the pace of the game.
Yeah, this at the moment, is back and forth. Even there, great save. The defense and the offense just trading, really. I'm surprised it's not a completely equal game, but this is what you get when you convert more of the opportunities that you have. I mean, it's been fairly equal in terms of shots and attempts. In fact, it's been exactly equal. They've each had a total of 6 shots, and that just goes to show how much this game is trading. But AGSB with the 4 saves, and that, it's the decisive factor at the moment in this game.
20 seconds left. It's still really all AGSB down here in the blue half of the field. Noodles and Forks will plate up and get that one over to DK18 with 10 seconds remaining. It is back into the hands of Don't Panic for the moment, but they've not really got any momentum on their side. They're out of boost, and Tommy's out of life. Demo 2 out of existence, and he will remain stand still. It will actually be kept up by Tommy, and Sushi now will go for the last minute dribble, trying to make some kind of 0-second play happen at the end here. Awesome will get it off the backboard, looking for Sushi. There he is, to the backboard once again, but it's hit too far back out. Tommy was there, but he was just a little bit too close in, and Don't Panic really started to panic toward in the middle of that game, but they kept their cool at the end. It just was a little bit too little, too late, and AGSB come away with the win.
Yeah, AGSB come away with the win. And what's interesting, we don't like to speak about points too much because generally points mean absolutely nothing. But when you've got a player that is 400, there is a 400 gap between himself and his second place teammate, and that is Noodles, absolutely outclassed the rest of the field. And that really was the defining player in that entire match. Now, everybody played fantastic, but Noodles was just that one step above everybody else. When you have that player that is one step above, you're likely to win out a match, but you can't rely on it for the entirety of the series. And that's one thing that the AGSB have to realize. They have to all get involved a little bit more in a few team plays. I think there were a bit too many times that I saw from both teams, a bit too much greed. To be honest, it's something that it happens a lot. A lot of players do it. A lot of teams make the mistakes, but it needs to be removed if you're going to consistently win week after week.
Absolutely, and for Don't Panic as well. I mean, we talked about them being an aggressive team, and I think as soon as they realised that AGSB were going to play this counter-attacking style, they changed the game that they were playing as well. They didn't really seem too confident to keep with this aggressive style of play. And really changed what they were doing, and it really hurt them in the long term. I think if they kept up that aggression, that it might have ended up with a win, but we'll see what happens here at the start of game number 2. But for me, Don't Panic, they just need to go back to their style of play, because it was working for at least for maybe 30-40 seconds.
Yeah, and I think this is something that we've spoken about previously, not necessarily today, but this idea that if your playstyle is working, sometimes it doesn't matter if you win or lose. You've just got to stick to it. Not every single loss means that you have to switch up your playstyle, and this is one of those moments, because all they've got to do is just convert more of the opportunities that they're taking. They don't need to play any differently.
They really don't, but we'll see what happens here. Game number 2, AGSB out in front with one game on the board. They'll keep the pressure down here in the blue half of the field. Gets relieved now, and no defense in sight. Everyone was downfield, and the AGSB fall victim to a counter-attack that they've been really famous for in this series so far.
That as well, I've got to say, that was an incredible shot by Tommy. It looked relatively open. That defender, they had the save there on that initial shot. If Tommy wasn't there to get that extra little flick into the top corner, that would not have been going in. But that was an absolutely phenomenal placement to delay the flick so much. I mean, that was on the literal brink of the flip being lost. and somehow still managed to keep it. That was great play.
Phenomenal mechanical ability from everyone on the Don't Panic side, and as they start to get settled into this series, I think you are going to start to see more of these mechanical plays from them. I mean, we saw in the video at the start, introducing this team, that it really felt like you can have a lot of mechanical plays, and especially Sushi, he had quite a few little highlight reel plays in the highlight reel at the start. I mean, that's what it's there for, I suppose, but when it comes down to it, coming to play defense and transitional play, it's all about what Don't Panic can do in the midfield, and Tommy able to get that one to the back forward for now, but Noodles will be aggressing on this, and Don't Panic just clean rotating, making sure the danger is alleviated here, but back into the blue half it will go. Noodles up into the wall, tries to be awesome, but doesn't manage to get anywhere past them, and now you can see AGSB, we've seen this from them before, where they're just all upfield, and I mean, we saw it in the last goal where all of them were in the blue half of the field, and then just Tommy picking his moment, picking his direction, and able to slot the needle through and get that goal on the board. So dangerous play from AGSB, but they're making it work here as they're rotating through the midfield fairly well.
Yeah, and this, I mean, at least what we can see from here, and we can see it quite clearly, that AGSB, they're not giving up yet. They have not quit. They're not looking to quit. They're not looking to alleviate the pressure. They're still trying to keep it on. It's just at the moment, unfortunately, not working for them. And the defense of Don't Panic has just been holding up well. But even with that being said, even the amount of pressure that's going on from AGSB, they still haven't managed to accumulate a single shot on target. And that, I mean, that's saying something bad.
Yeah, I mean, when you have possession downfield and in your opponent's half for that long, you would expect one shot to come onto net, but Don't Panic just playing the disruption and playing this style where they can get the ball back fairly quickly is putting AGSB answering a few questions of their own, but now we can see Don't Panic trying to hold midfield as AGSB have done for most of this game. Minute 26 left and counting. Still only one goal on the board, and it is in the favour of Don't Panic. Tommy now trying to shoot upon net, will get blocked away. Here comes Noodles for a great opportunity, but again, Sushi, the defense for Don't Panic is so quick to these balls and interceptions that AGSB just need to step up the pace of the game. They're slowing everything down, but Don't Panic, they like to play slow by the looks of things, as well as the booming style that you were talking about at the start of the game, Killsync.
Yeah, and this, I mean, as it progresses into the latter parts of this game,
oh my goodness,
I'm still concerned. I'm even more concerned. Is that a disconnect on the server?
Yeah, this is a disconnect on the server. I thought there was the defender missing it, and then the disconnect symbol comes up. I don't know how we resolve this one, to be quite honest with you.
No, I'm also not sure. So what I think we'll do here, guys, is we'll just take a short, shall we say, intermission. We won't be long. We're just going to establish what the ruling is from.
Yeah, we've quit out of the game
from
now,
some of the people.
So let's just see what's going on. I don't know what the ruling on this will be. We'll have to get the admins involved, of course. And we'll get that one back underway. But of course, Don't Panic just with that one goal advantage right now. They are looking strong, Killsync. I mean, actually, we were joining about the game back right now, and we'll probably just play from that 1-0 up. But we'll get an admin's ruling on this at some point. But Don't Panic, they're looking quite strong for me myself. But AGSB, they have been keeping the ball in their possession a lot more than they did against Crosskeys earlier on. But as you said, they just haven't been able to get any shots on net, and that's due to the Don't Panic defense just, well, not panicking, for the lack of a better term.
Yeah, I mean, it's a fairly straightforward game, Rocket League, when you strip it back to its bare basics, and that is put ball in goal. Simple as that.
See ball, hit ball, score ball.
Yeah, see ball, hit ball, score
play
goal.
Rocket League.
And I mean, when you strip it back, that is the fundamentals. And if you're not taking shots, guess what you're not going to do 100 times out of 100? I mean, we're all relatively smart people in the world, so we know that you don't shoot, you don't score.
Yeah.
At the moment, AGSB have an infinite amount times less of a chance of winning than Don't Panic do, because Don't Panic have had, in that game at least, 4 shots on target. So with AGSB 0, you're going to win. You're going to win inevitably. Mm-hmm. This might, however, and it's got to be said, this disconnect is going to favor AGSB dramatically. Yeah. Because as I can even see here, they are not rushing to rejoin this match. There is no haste from them whatsoever. And that, in my personal opinion, is a great tactic. If the server goes down and you're losing by 1 goal and you're doing nothing in the game, take your time. Don't join back. Hold on.
You may as well.
Wait. Use any excuse. I mean, this is the chance to have a quick team chat and say, right, while the server's down, what are we gonna do here? Because we're getting trashed. And yes, I get it. For anybody who's listening and watching and thinks, oh, 1-0 isn't a trashing. It's a trashing when you're holding off your opponents to no shots. It's as simple as that.
Absolutely.
If you're winning 1-0 or 10-0, if your opponent isn't shooting, it's a trashing. I'm sorry. But AGSB now have had that opportunity to maybe have a discussion and see what is what and see if they can make a difference.
Yeah, we'll see how they adjust coming in to this restart game. We've still not heard anything from, at least on our side, we've not had a word through from what this ruling is. I'm not sure if we're just going to restart or not. Actually, let me check Smash, because they might have been communicating there. Although we are back into the game, let's head back over to Rocket League right now. Actually, let's not do that, because they're just flying about. I'm trying. Yeah.
So what they've agreed on is they've agreed on just running down the timer until it gets to the minute mark. Then they're going to score the 1 goal, and they're just going to equalize
see what's
it up. So I mean,
here as well. I mean, so they're just wasting the 5 minutes off the clock and getting back to that 1-0. So I imagine they'll stick the goal in at 51 seconds. And just go from that. Actually, let's watch this and just see the chaos that ensues. I love these just running down the clock kind of thing. Are they going to go for the...
Should we see if we can do an Eminem style rap about what's going on?
Oh, I mean, you can try that. I'm not going to try that.
No, you know what? That gives me an idea. I think I might actually hold off on that one. I think it might not be.
I mean,
the best
they're going
idea,
they're going for the trying to do the 6-man stack, by the looks of things. And let me actually like try and spectate this in like free cam or something. So that ding. I'm not sure if that came through
so
or not,
there's one. No, that's not happening. We've got Tommy trying to ride sushi. Sushi coming on top of Awesome. Awesome isn't able to hold the back. Oh my word! Awesome's lost it all. Awesome's decided to back out of the play, and we've got Noodles in the back and Noodles in the back, but the ball is on the right-hand side of the field. Nobody's going for the ball, and even now, Tommy riding up the back of Sushi, and Sushi being bumped out by Awesome. What a play!
Oh my God.
Not sure what's possessed him to pull off that one, but it's something.
Also, me trying to spectate this with my controller is an experience in itself. I thought they were going to try and do like the six-man car stack. That doesn't seem to be the case, at least not anymore. I love watching these, because they just have fun with it. Apparently me changing camera perspective is saving the replay of this game as well. Come on, guys, we want to see...
Yeah, I'm telling you, I could get pretty hyped about this kind of play right now.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure we could probably get like a solid This Is Rocket League going, but in the most genuine fashion ever if we tried to.
Probably. I mean, not with the camera work I'm pulling out the bag. I don't know if you can see the stream as well, but I'm trying to see every. Oh,
I can't. I mean,
the complete.
It's a good camera style.
The demo I just saw. This is. I'm gonna. Stop the music. Let's just take this in for what it is, and it's all its glory. I turn auto cam on. This is the weirdest series that I've been a part of in a long time. I just do auto cam.
This is the kind of series that, let's be honest, everybody here came to watch this right now. 2 minutes, 10 seconds left on the clock, and everybody's forgotten how to touch the ball. You've got demos coming out left, right, and center. But Sushi getting the single touch of the past 2 minutes. Somebody's remembered how to touch the ball. Tommy straight into the corner, straight into the side. Nobody's going for the ball again. It's the demo attempts coming out from Forks onto Awesome. The shot going on target, and Sushi with the backflip save. What a beautiful man as he pushes it right. He pushes it left, and the goal's going to come out. It's the accident. We can't believe it's happened. Forks left the match, realizing he's ruined it all. Everything they've worked so hard for, and it's been destroyed like that. It's disgusting. It's despicable. It's Rocket League.
You have got to be kidding me. I mean, they're just going to score one to even it up, and then we'll start at probably 2-1. But trying not to score until 51 seconds. I mean, they lasted this long. I mean, you gotta give them credit for that, I suppose. Oh man, what chaos!
Yeah, this is. I mean, I'm just wondering what they'll do after the kickoff now. Who's gonna do what? That's the question. Tommy straight in with the demo. I'm not even surprised. That's probably a way of saying, why did you score? Why? Why did you do it? What possessed you?
I have no idea, but we've still got another just over 30 seconds to go until this one's going to be 2-1 in favor of Don't Panic. Sushi teasing the ball here, and we try and stop. Is he going to try and stop it in the boost pad? No, Noodles absolutely ruins it. He takes it away from him. Come on, we got
potential slowest goal in history coming out from Sushi.
Oh, he's going to try and
Sushi's
stop it on the line. Oh,
Sushi, stop
no
it.
way! You got to score. You got to score in 10 seconds, lads. You got to let it go in. You've got to take the toll here, but try and keep it on the goal line, just like Johnny Boy did all those years ago. No, it's 54 seconds. Hey, we can play from here. That's fine.
I suppose we can work with that.
Yeah, we got.
I mean, absolutely cracking shot. You expect Forks to do better with the save there, but Tommy coming in, flashy, DP, the team we know him to be.
Yeah,
absolutely beautiful. And now we can start with the real casting back again.
Yeah, now we're back into the game. 2-1 up. Well, technically 1-0 up to Don't Panic, but we'll just ignore that for the moment. We're back into proper Rocket League here in game number 2. AGSB with the point on the board so far. 35 seconds remaining in this game, and now Awesome trying to clear it all away, and he gets it to Sushi. What an upfield pass, and Sushi flips it in. 2-1 leads. 2-0 lead, I should say.
Yeah, that is what I expect from Sushi, to be honest. Sushi is just such a capable aggressor and just such a capable upfield player. And I mean, we actually said right at the very start of all of this series that Awesome and Tommy tend to find Sushi upfield, feed it to him, and Sushi gets the goals. And ironically, that's exactly the way the goals scored. And it just goes to show that these teams, the way they play, the way they perform, it's just brilliant.
Yeah, phenomenal chemistry from this Don't Panic side. And after all the DC madness, it will actually come back down the field. They've still got a chance here in this game, Killsing. Noodles pulls it within 1.
Yeah, the slight overcommit from the Don't Panic team, but I don't think they'll be too fussed about that. I think 11 seconds left. That is technically, I think, AGSB's first real shot of the match, and it's a goal. So, 100% conversion rate. They're going to feel pretty good about that, regardless of whether they win, because it just goes to show, the chances they're getting, they are making more opportunities from. But this was a fantastic first game, albeit a 10-minute long one for what should have only been not a 10-minute long one. And it's been fantastic to see. Don't Panic really came out and showed us what other teams are capable of, and tying up the series, it's promising.
It does look.
It's very promising.
It really does look promising for them. And after all the chaos that ensued after the disconnection, well played to both of them as well in terms of sportsmanship. A lot of teams would just play that out or just completely say, "Oh, we need to replay the whole thing." But great sportsmanship. I was watching them in the chat on Smash GG, where you can follow the bracket as well. And I was just watching that, and it was great to see. It was like, yeah, well, I'm trying to see what happened. Yeah, it was just the server that crashed, and then I think it was Sushi who said, right, we'll say 1-0 to us, and we'll start playing at 51 seconds. So great sportsmanship, well done to them, keeping the competitive integrity here on the All-Star Showdown for the British Esports Association. But after all that madness of game number 2 and the disconnections and all that, it does coming down to brass tacks. It is now a tie series. Where are you leaning towards this one now, Killsync? I mean, we've seen Don't Panic take control. We've seen AGSB take control. Who's going to take control in Game 3 and put themselves onto match point, do you think?
I can honestly see Don't Panic taking it. I mean, when you've got... When you take that much of a demanding position in a match, it's... You know, I don't ever believe that a team can come back from it. And the reason I say that, and I know teams have come back from it, but it's always a shock to people. It's never, it's never one of those things where people say, oh yeah, no, I really thought they were getting back into it. It was one goal that they scored from one singular shot. If they continue a performance like that, they've got absolutely no chance. You can't put up one shot a match. You need way more than that.
Definitely so, but here comes Noodles trying to get the first shot on to goal for AGSB, but it will actually be, I think it was Gorilla who managed to get the first shot on net for his team. At least gets more shots than they did before the disconnection during game number 2. No defense in sight for Don't Panic though, and this might be a problem for them as DK's dribbling towards net. Tommy able to step in front of it in the nick of time and get that one away. So a fairly conservative start, but oh, that's a big mistake straight out to Tommy from the corner. Man alive, that was a massive mistake on defense.
Yeah, and I mean it happens. It happens a lot. The pass out was poor. More importantly, DK's positioning as well. It's got to be questioned that maybe shouldn't be in the same area as each other, but they were, and things like this happen. We know that this AGSB team are capable of pulling those back, so I'm just hoping it doesn't get in their head too much because they're a fantastic team. I'm hoping they can turn this around.
Well, let's see how DK gets on one-on-one with Sushi. He'll actually get beaten out. Sushi was straight to that, and now on the back foot, AGSB try to defend here against Don't Panic. Sushi tips it into the middle. Tommy was aggressing on it, but not able to get shot off. Now has to come back to defense when Noodles is really just hammering him in the corner, disrupting his rotation back and letting AGSB push up, but that's going to be an open ball. Tommy able to pick it up and forks nice little aerial back and able to get it to the corner. Now Sushi fires to net. Oh, it's just going to go to the side. Now you can see Don't Panic. They want to get 2 goals up. They do not want AGSB to have any shot at this one. They want I mean, they prevented them from having any shots before the disconnection in game number 2. It's looking like that's going to be the same style of play here. Tommy fires to net. Noodles, what an epic save, but awesome with the follow-up. Sushi is there, drops it down to him into the corner. It will go, but no follow-up, and but they do keep the ball here, but AGSB able to play defense phenomenally well and keep their cool against Don't Panic.
Yeah, and it was like you say, it was phenomenal defending, because when you've got that much pressure on you, especially after having just conceded the goal that you've just conceded, it's really difficult to keep mentally sturdy, shall we say, and resilient to the fact that, we've just conceded a really poor goal. We need to keep our defending good, and then, you almost make mistakes. But that might be a costly one. That's a good save again from Fox, and yeah, they really are playing well in the positions they need to, and that's a great counter-attack as well.
Lovely counter-attack, and this is what we've been lacking from AGSB throughout this series, the lack of counter-attack. We saw them against Crosskeys, and that's really how they won this series. Now the counter-attack against Don't Panic works out for them well, and ties up this third game at 1 apiece. 1 apiece in the series as well. Match point on the line for whoever wins this one, and it looks like AGSB want to be right back on the kickoff, straight into the blue half of the field, but 2 defenders up, 2 defenders save, and away the ball goes into the orange half once again. And Don't Panic really like sticking it to AGSB in their own half and keeping this pressure down, but AGSB, their defense is step the hell up. They're hitting their shots, they're keeping their cool, they're not panicking is what I'm saying. Yeah,
they're really not, and I think one of the issues that Don't Panic are having at the moment is they're trying to be so aggressive, so forceful in trying to beat this AGSB defense that they're actually almost wasting possession sometimes. I mean, we just see it from Awesome there again,
Sushi.
straight into the path of an opposition. But fortunately for him, it actually favors them as Sushi is able to get the goal. I don't even know how.
Oh, it was just another mistake from DK right out of goal. He hits it straight into the path of Sushi, who was lying in wait on the right-hand side. That's now twice that we've seen that from AGSB, where they've got the ball in their possession in defense. They've tried to clear the ball downfield, and they've hit it straight into the path of a Don't Panic player who's been able to say, thank you very much, I'm going to put that in my shopping basket and take that straight to the bank. 2-1 in favour of Don't Panic and off of 2 mistakes from AGSB. But that's not a mistake from anybody except the defense once again. Great passing play. AGSB tie it back up.
Yeah, and this is one of the worst mistakes I've seen on defense, because Sushi here going for that corner boost, and it hadn't spawned at the time he'd gone for it. Now, if you turn off ball cam, you can see that and you can stop driving for it. And in that situation, Sushi would have been back in defense. But as it turns out, it gets a little bit too greedy for that boost, a little bit too hungry, shall we say, for the 100. And unfortunately cost his team a goal. But that won't phase him too much. It won't bother him too much. They'll get back into this. You know, these mistakes happen time and time again, and teams recuperate and recover very, very well. So I'm hoping that happens here with this Don't Panic team. But it's extremely equal in this match number 3, and that's good to see. Neither team yet has crumbled.
Oh, but the defense crumbles apart once again. AGSB, so many defensive mistakes. But this one from Don't Panic was a great team play. Tommy off the wall and Sushi with the follow-up. DK and Fox had no idea where their shot was going to come from.
Yeah, the privilege of being Sushi in that situation is you can literally aim, especially when you're a player of his caliber. You can aim for anywhere on the pitch you want to aim for. Like, you have free roam. There's going to be another goal immediately after they score their third, and this DP is just running away with the lead.
Just piling it on now, punishing the defense of AGSB, who's really not performed up to the standard that we've come to expect from them, especially against that game against Crosskeys earlier. They were rotating well, but this time they're just, I don't know what, maybe Don't Panic are in their head. I mean, they've been not panicking when they've been coming to offense, but the defense has really been in a pickle ever since this game started. 4 goals to 2 rather in this game at number 3 with 15 seconds left. It seriously looks like Don't Panic are going to go on to match point. Tommy looking for a 5th. Won't get it over Fox in defense, but it won't matter in the end. The seconds tick down in the final countdown, and it will be confirmed. Don't Panic on to match point as the clock hits 000. AGSB need to fight back from this one, as they are in a 2-1 hole here in this series.
Yeah, and one of the huge issues that AGSB are suffering with at the moment is you can't come out of a game having conceded 4 goals, but still somehow racking up 6 saves. Because that tells me that you are allowing way too much pressure to come onto you, and that is just something you can't do. If you're making 6 saves and you're allowing 4 goals, you know, 10 shots which are good enough to be on target and good enough to be goals, no, that's crazy. That's ridiculous. That is not something that should be happening. Don't Panic. They only needed to pull off 2 saves. Even if they hadn't made those 2 saves, we'd only be seeing an overtime game. Like, this isn't even a question at the moment on whether Don't Panic are playing better offense than AGSB. They most definitely are. But AGSB are pulling off a better defense. It's just that, you know, it doesn't matter how good your defense is if you're not putting up shots as well. We said it in the last game, and we'll continue to say it. Shots need to start coming out more. They got 2 good counter-attacking goals, and that was pretty much it. And that's something that they need to change, because they can't just rely on misplays on the offense from Don't Panic, because, well, they're not panicking.
Yeah, and the like you said, the misplays aren't happening for Don't Panic on offense, but they are happening for AGSB on defense. I mean, we saw 2 or 3 goals in that last one where AGSB were just caught in their own half. A shot came onto net, and they got completely caught off guard, and a player from Don't Panic was just lying in wait to take it away from them and score pretty much an open net. Maybe one defender to beat, but they had no idea the shot was coming because they tried to clear downfield, but the Don't Panic side were just right in their faces. And I mean, you talked about at the start of the series earlier on, Killsync. I mean, it really is starting to show that this aggressive style of Rocket League is causing AGSB a lot of issues in defense, and after, like you said earlier, not dropping a single series to Don't Panic throughout the season, they seem to be crumbling under the pressure that they know that qualification is on the line in this game.
Yeah, and I mean, the statistic we were told, I'm led to believe maybe a little bit untrue, because this Don't Panic team, it definitely doesn't look like a team that is struggling too much against this AGSB side. So I got to question where my information actually came from, but nevertheless, let's see if AGSB can turn it around. I mean, we've heard so often that these guys have great mental fortitude. They have the ability to pull back from ridiculous deficits. I want to see that happen. I want to see them turn this around now, and I want to see them get shots on target.
We may have fallen victim to fake stats, as they're calling it in the business these days. We'll get
the fake news,
the fake stats.
How dare they?
I won't do the voice. I'll forgo that. But as you can see here, a fairly even start to game number 4 now. As AGSB trying to find some kind of way through the defense of Don't Panic, but a lovely underflick from Sushi. Not able to get past Noodles, but you can see that Don't Panic are starting to get very comfortable when it comes to offense. And they're able to toy with their food, play with AGSB, and make them think one thing's happening, and then all of a sudden, boom, another happens and they're down. But still, Don't Panic are keeping a cool head and keeping a cool mindset, even though AGSB, their defense has started to come together at the start of Game 4 here.
Yeah, it really has started to come together, and I think one of the important things we're still seeing, and it's a repeat of every game we've had so far with this team, Don't Panic racking up a total of 4 shots already in this game, forcing a save apiece. But this could be the goal. But what a great save from DK. That's so pivotal, especially when everything is on the line in this final game. And this is just crazy.
It's just nuts, the amount of shots that Don't Panic are able to get away with. Awesome in a very precarious situation there, as he had no boost, but was maybe in a position to get a unexpected flick that the defense wouldn't have been expecting. Here comes Sushi trying to power through the midfield presence of AGSB, but Forks will pick this one up and try for a counter-attack and play of his own. Now DK to the right-hand wall, and no one in there to support him, and this is what we've been lacking from AGSB, where they've been sending one man, and he's been able to get into a decent position for the rest of AGSB to aggress on it, but no one is there. Oh, but no one's there for the defense. Noodles had a wide open net, and he doesn't shoot it, and it's going to be counter-attacked all the way back down. What a missed opportunity for AGSB, and Don't Panic able to capitalize.
Yeah, there's really not too much I can say about that. DK actually had a fantastic hit out. Forks didn't stand too much of a chance. The minute you're in a 1v1 situation like that and you're trying to rotate back into the goal, you're almost inevitably going to get scored on unless you're extremely lucky. But AGSB, they have to be converting chances like that and converting opportunities. And in this situation, they just didn't. And it cost them so dearly. It cost them as much as it can cost you in a match. But they're going to get the goal back. And they're going to get back into this game.
They absolutely are. Where did this come from? Forks just completely aggressing on that. And that's the kind of play that we've been wanting to see from EGSB. Where, I mean, I just talked about it before Don't Panic scored, where they have one man upfield and they not be able to do anything with it. Now they have 2 men upfield. You can get a passing play done. And now they're able to score and tie things up. That's great offense from AGSB. But now they need to capitalize on it. Now they have the momentum on their side. They need to start pushing 2 men. But you can see there, Noodles was all by himself trying to do all of the work. And none of his teammates were in tow with him and not able to get a pass through. There comes the pass, though, into Noodles. But Sushi with a great defensive play. But we need to see more passing plays from AGSB because that has been their downfall.
It has. And it was their downfall there as well. It looked like a great infield pass to AGSB. But then immediately, I'm sorry, I didn't even know there wasn't a defender in goal. What on earth has happened on the defense here for Don't Panic? This was just a huge misplay. Tommy thinking Sushi was in goal. Sushi, I think, thinking Tommy was in goal. And neither was there to defend. That is just such a surprise and so against the run of play.
Slow goal as well. 17 miles an hour clocked on the speed gun as that one trickles over the line. No one saw that coming. Not AGSB, not Don't Panic, certainly not us here in the commentary booth as well. Yeah, absolutely astounded by that one going in. We thought Don't Panic's defense was stout, but they leave that one wide open, and all of a sudden they've let AGSB not just back into this game, but back into this series as well. 30 seconds left, and we could be seeing a Game 5 on the board here, Killsync, as Don't Panic try to claw things back. 20 seconds left. There comes Sushi into Tommy. That connection has been a formidable one at the very least. And now Awesome powers it through two defenders, but can't get it past the third. And Noodles had a wide open opportunity to run back down the field, but wasn't able to get it out of his own half. But now with 5 seconds remaining, Awesome open net, and he gets it, dunks it down. The last moment chance, and Don't Panic may have caught themselves overtime.
Yeah, and I've got to give so much credit here to Tommy for the decision making. Slowing it down when you've only got 5 seconds left. I don't think people realize how difficult it is, not just mentally, but actually physically in the game, to slow down enough to basically stop the ball and try and force the opposition into a misplay. And he did it absolutely perfectly. Forced DK to rotate back, then forced him to re-rotate back into position to try and challenge it. The challenge coming through, pinching it straight into a perfect position. And Awesome not making any mistakes. Everything about that play was unbelievably perfect. I would have liked to have seen just there, though. I've got to admit, I'd have liked to have seen there Awesome following that ball and going in for the demo. But this might be it! And that's the game! It looked set for AGSB to get back into this series, and Don't Panic have taken it in the final 28 seconds of the entire match. They managed to get the victory. Unbelievable performance from Don't Panic.
My jaws just hit the floor. Man alive, what was AGSB doing at the end of that overtime? I just saw the ball go right up to the backboard, and then no defender is there, and I'm like, okay, Awesome scored. What the hell was that? That was...
Yep.
Oh, I'm shocked, honestly, because AGSB, what a valiant comeback for a start, managing to get downfield and put some pressure on the Don't Panic net, as we've been asking them to do all series long, and they finally managed to come away with it. Lose that play, that phenomenal play at the end of regulation for Awesome to score, but then they just crumble apart. I don't know exactly what happened. Did they just not expect that? Were they... I really don't understand. Because... I'm lost for words, Killsync.
I honestly think it's one of those situations that we spoke about it. All of the stats basically said it, that this Don't Panic team is ridiculously aggressive. And that was unbelievably aggressive. That was even more aggressive than I was expecting them to come out. I said that I enjoyed watching Sushi play because I enjoyed just the sheer power, aggression, shot. And that it was perfect. It was exactly that. They came out, played their normal play style. Now this is a play style I want to point out to people. This doesn't change. Teams have the opportunity to review this play style and say, oh, actually, yeah, no, these guys do just go for shots. Maybe we should pressure them. Maybe we should suffocate them. And yet no team manages to do it successfully because Don't Panic are just that good in their play style that they can beat out teams. So it's absolute credit to them for going through. Fantastic. And then on the other side of the bracket, we've also got the Ferris Esports going through. That was one of the matches I said I would also have liked to have watched. We saw them play midweek as well. They went 2 games. They lost both 3 games to 2. But this was against 2 really good uni teams, and they played exceptional. Everything they were doing was really good, and the mechanical plays that were coming out from the team was just fantastic to watch. It was absolutely lovely. So it's a shame we didn't get to see them go through, but they did go through and forced Basilisk into the lower quarterfinal to decide whether or not they're going to win against either, I think it's Felstead Esports or Cross Keys. But for the next game, we're going to be seeing AGSB again facing off against Matador. We'll get that up as soon as possible, but for now, I think it's fair to say we're going to be taking
we'll get that one ready
break
for you. Like you said, the other semi-final will be on the AGSB esports channel. It's funny that AGSB are not following their own team and we're following it on this stream. It's funny how things work out like that. But yeah, like I said, they're going to be taking Basilisk will be taking on either Filstead or Crosskeys. That game is in progress right now. We'll have an update for you of that later on. EP Esports are out of the competition. They got beat by Matador, who, like you said, we're going to see up next. But we'll get that one set up for you right after this. Don't go anywhere. AGSB there showing off their skills as best they can, and they've been showing off their skills as best they can here on Rocket Kingdom TV. My name's Craftman, joined by Killsync for the final game of the day. And AGSB, we've been following them throughout the day, Killsync, and we are going to see them once again in our final game against Matador Gaming. Do you want a quick word about AGSB, how they've performed throughout the day before we talk about Matador?
Yeah, AGSB have been absolutely incredible. I mean, they faced off against Crosskeys in the first game of the day, and they played exceptional in that game, it's worth saying. Absolutely crucial. Absolutely pivotal. They were fantastic to watch. Everything they did just looked clean. It looked spectacular, and it was just nice. In the second game, however, they still played well, but don't panic, my word, they just came out on top. It's unfortunate. It happens from time to time. It does not mean AGSB are out. But now, facing off against this Matador team. Now, AGSB have been, I think it's fair to say, defensive and gone for those counterattacks. Against Don't Panic, it didn't work. They weren't able to transition onto offense. And if AGSB aren't allowed to do that, they struggle in a game. This Matador gaming, though, we don't know what they are like in terms of performance. We know that in season 4, they were 5th to 8th place, so not really in any of those like top 3 positions, and they lost 4-3 to the Ferrers Esports. Now we've seen Ferrers play before, so that is not a surprise loss, shall we say, and it was close. Losing only 4-3 suggests they put up a fight. Now that's the kind of fight against a team like the Ferrers that means a lot. That means an awful lot. So this is really going to be an anything goes kind of situation. I don't know what Matador are bringing in, but we know that AGSB
let's see
are going to be consistent.
what Matador bring to the table. Let's meet them. Here's the team. Great plays from them. So Killsync, just looking at their results from today against Ferrers Esports, they lost in a very close 3-2 series. Let's see, what was the score of that game? Let's have a wee look if it even shows us. I don't think we're going to be able to see that, because I think it was on the AGSB stream earlier on. So if you want to find out how they played, go over there and watch the VOD of that. But then they beat out EP Esports 3-0. So coming against this AGSB team who've been kind of up and down, what are you expecting out of these guys?
I'm expecting something big, mainly because of that 3-2 loss against Ferrers. And arguably, I would say Ferrers might be a slightly better team than Don't Panic. It's a personal opinion. It doesn't mean I'm right by any stretch of the word. It's just from what I saw. I think if Ferrers Esports were to face off against Don't Panic, I think Ferrers Esports would probably win. So, these teams are going to be fairly evenly matched. I would be very surprised if we saw a 3-0. That would be the most surprising thing I would expect. I would expect this to go the full 5 games, but it very much depends on...
Yeah, well, we'll see who qualifies for the main event of the All-Star Showdown of the British Esports Association. Matador Gaming in the blue, AGSB in the orange. Let's get things started here in game number 1. Best of 5 to decide who will go through and who will be crashing their way out. FTK, get that into the corner, looking to follow up, and there's Evil Ed. We saw the plays from him in the highlight reel, and pulling out a highlight reel goal in the first 15 seconds.
Yeah, and I mean, it's a great fake from FTK. I'm not entirely sure if it's an intentional fake, but nevertheless, Evil Ed following up, it does bait out both of the defenders, and that's something you can't afford to be dragged in. You can't afford to be baited into a challenge like that as 2 men back on defense.
Just as quickly as the game started, they are down in familiar territory for AGSB. They were so many times where they were down against Don't Panic, but were able to rally every now and again. Obviously wasn't enough in the end, losing the series 3-1, as we just saw on stream. But now a little passing play, and that's what we've been missing from them. The passing plays. Gorilla to Noodles, 1-1.
Yeah, and that was an absolutely great passing play. DK straight into the center to Noodles, and even though all 3 players are in defense for Matador Gaming, none of them can reach the ball in time, and that just goes to show the sheer placement of Noodles. But I mean, this is good, because this is a lot more aggressive from AGSB than we've seen so far, and that's surprising considering they just played Don't Panic and had the perfect opportunities to be aggressive and didn't take them.
How things progress after a quick start, aggressive start for both teams, and obviously we've seen AGSB really come to life when they've been down a couple of goals. Now let's, for me, I want to see them play from the front. I want to see them get the lead, to maintain it, get an even better lead. Because right now they're content to play even Rocket League, and again, 1 man up with 2 men back when you're an even kilter. Every time that AGSB have really started to commit 2 men, even 3 men downfield, it has worked out for them more often than not. Whether it's against Don't Panic or against Cross Keys earlier on. That's what won them those games, that they pulled off both of those teams. So now against Matador, who seem a little bit more conserved than Don't Panic have been. Could be something they want to employ here in this first game of the qualifying match.
Yeah, this is... I mean, it's good. The passing plays, you can already see it coming out from both teams, but the slight misses, they're just not costing either team at the moment, and that's something like got to be capitalized on. Like, look at how long that ball is just loomed in the air for. You expect a shot to be coming on target, it's got to be said, but nevertheless, still just being launched in field. Noodles coming in with a save, and it's great to see. It's really fantastic to see, because the speed of this play feels so much quicker than every game we've watched so far.
Liking what Matador are bringing to the table right now, but that's a shot from Forks. Try to sneak it under the crossbar, but Image Creator will Photoshop that one into the corner. Nah, it doesn't work. That doesn't really work. DK now to the corner. In tow is Evil Ed, trying to take that one away from him, and slowing the pace of the game down a little bit. Or AGSB, happy to take it at a slower pace, and we've seen that from them before, where they've slowed the pace of the game down, controlled the speed. Didn't really work when they tried to do it against Don't Panic, but phenomenally well against Cross Keys earlier on. Now against Matador, it's still up in the air. Who's really in control of this one? Here comes FTK, air dribble in on the line, but good defensive play, and we'll go back to a midfield play.
Yeah, these guys, they're both playing quite aggressive, but things like that, it's passing plays that don't get shut down quickly enough that are just going to cost the teams. Evil Ed given so much time to make the pass, and then FTK again given a copious amount of time to take the shot, and maybe now AGSB just slipping back into their old ways of going a little bit too defensive. Maybe they need to keep up that pressure that they started the game with.
Dead still in net, not aggressing, not really trying to make a play in defense. Oh my god, he misses again. Evil Ed is there to try and get the follow-up, but hits it straight into the back wall. But you saw there, Forks, just so much hesitation. It's like, should I go for it? Should I just sit back, wait for the ball, or wait for a clear? He didn't know what to do, and the hesitation just cost them the goal. Here comes FTK again, up onto the backboard, causing confusion in the AGSB defense. They have no idea what to do with this.
Yeah, they really don't. But that's not the greatest to pass. And maybe possession, it's got to be said, just giving away too easy. I mean, Image Creator, we just saw there again, just kind of chucking the ball into an area. Didn't really need to. That was a great shot attempt, and even led with a better save. But this is something that needs to be stopped, because even there, Evil Ed had an opportunity to take it slow. DK didn't really get a pass over to any of his teammates, and it's really summing up the performance from both teams. Even though there is a goal that separates them, I feel like I've been watching at the moment 3 individual players playing for this AGSB team, and it's unfortunately not.
Well, you say
not
that,
what we know they're
and
capable
all of a sudden, a passing play
shot.
whips it weary head round. AGSB passing their way to a tie game with 16 seconds left. Absolutely phenomenal offensive pressure from AGSB. And after being on the back foot so long, once again, we've seen this before. Like we said, Killsync, when they're at even or up, they always push one. When they're down, they've been pushing two, and they've been getting the goals back that they've really needed, and it looks like this one might end up in overtime.
Yeah, and it's that pressure that we spoke about. It's that necessary amount of aggression that you need in a game to win. Because we saw him playing individually, and then the minute they pull out a passing play, like you commented on, they get credited with a goal, and they get credited with great play just altogether. And that is what we know AGSB are capable of, and that's something that they should be doing 24/7 because they have the ability.
This is a team sport, not an individual play. But hey ho, either way, AGSB do find themselves indeed in overtime. First game on the line here for both teams, and I mean, we're commenting a lot on AGSB, mainly because we've seen them in all three games that we've seen on stream here, but Matador, obviously, that close series that they had against Ferrets, who indeed qualified earlier on against Basilisk, they're playing a fairly solid game. I mean, we've seen plays from both Evil Ed and FTK where they've been air dribbling and causing AGSB to stand still in their boots. This is a formidable team, and AGSB are at least keeping even kilter with them for now.
Yeah, they are. I mean, I honestly couldn't tell you who's going to win this game. It did look like there was the possibility for it to be a goal just there, but I mean, FTK no doubt will just launch it upfield, which is exactly what's happening, and then it just gets launched straight back by AGSB, and it's, neither team are going to score goals like that. It's just not the way. It's not the way the world works. Not when you've got nobody up there following.
A minute and a half into OT, and still no real massive chances for either team. They're just playing their own games, playing the rotations, and still playing Rocket League here in game number one. Forks gets the dunk over the defender in midfield, and now able to swing that one back into the middle. Noodles is there, but he's way late to it. If he was any earlier, it might have been all over. We talked about the passing.
Yeah, for a moment I was questioning whether we were playing Rocket League or whether we were playing volleyball, because the ball just bouncing right over the midfield, just back and forth, and neither team even making a shot on target. And that's something, I'm surprised to see, is that I can't remember the last time either team had to actually make a save.
I remember this way back in the early days of Rocket League, where a lot of competitive games would just start with offensive, defensive ping pong, back and forth, back and forth. Really a retro feel to this one here on DFH Stadium as we tick past the 2.5 minute mark of OT. It's kind of half shot there from Matador Gaming, but FTK looking to put that one on the backboard and set up his team, but does take out DK18, but no chances followed up there from Matador Gaming. AGSB now shooting towards net. Evil Ed with the save, able to get that one away. Here comes the DK, not able to squeeze it by. Evil Ed will clear, and that's really the best opportunity that AGSB have had in this overtime.
Yeah, and in all honesty, it's the first real opportunity anybody seems to have had in this overtime. Another relatively good save. It was quite simple for Image Creator, it's fair to say, coming out there. But you've got to, I think both teams really need to start, or at least one team needs to start putting on the pressure, because neither team is going to get a goal at this rate if they just continue to kind of just trickle the ball up the field, not really make too much of a play with it. They're both capable of getting some fancier plays in, and as of yet, I haven't seen that. But AGSB definitely putting on a bigger performance, in my opinion, than they put on in the last game.
Momentum is with them, regardless of what the scoreline was in regulation or how even this overtime has been going. It really feels like AGSB are holding on to the ball a lot more. Matador Gaming are only getting a chance here and there. AGSB are bringing this fight right down to the Matador Gaming half. FTK able to get the dunk over off of the attacking player, though. He'll get possession back in. A back pass will come out. And Noodle's able to aggress on that now. Forks try to pick this up on the right hand side. Gets it over Image Creator, but Evil Ed Once again, it just really feels like it's shot rotate, shot rotate, shot rotate, as we've been seeing a lot of the time from AGSB, and Matador are pretty much doing the same thing. They're not wanting to make any mistakes. They're happy to sit back, and they're just both teams are really waiting for their opponent to make a mistake, just like that. And we see Forks overextend across the net, and Evil Ed spies it from the midfield, sees Noodle's way there. Forks is nowhere, and the only place that the ball's going straight in the net. Matador Gaming 1-0 up.
Yeah, that was it was such a shame, because after over 4.5 minutes of overtime, almost 5 minutes, to end it with a huge misplay on defense. And I mean, I'm sorry to say it, AGSB, that was a huge misplay on defense. It's as simple as that. Sometimes you can't really phrase it in any other manner. To see it end like that really doesn't show the quality of gameplay that we've had so far, because AGSB have been unbelievably spectacular to watch. So have Matador Gaming. I was almost hoping to see a really solid ending shot, like a career ender kind of shot, the kind of shot that you turn around and you say, "Oh, that was good. I liked seeing that." But no, instead it ended with a "oh." Well, that's not what I like to see in overtime. But still, nevertheless, Matador did well to hold out there. They didn't concede, and the one really amazing thing about them, 10 saves in that match. 10 saves from Matador Gaming, like that. That is incredible. 6 coming from Image Creator, who had no involvement, none whatsoever, in the goals that were scored by Matador. It just goes to show the clear difference, even in the single team, between what the players...
Yeah, and no shots from Image Creator as well. He's happy to sit back and play that defensive role. But again, we didn't really say his name too much. Other than when he was in defense, he wasn't really pushing with the team. He wasn't really getting too many opportunities when Matador were pushing upfield. So I think for me, Matador, yes, they were the better team in my opinion. Or no, actually, I think AGSB are still the better team. But for me, you saw there where there was times where AGSB would push up and then they just wouldn't get a shot off, and then Matador would come back with these amazing flick plays, and saw air dribbles from FTK and from Evil Ed as well. But Image Creator just happy to sit back and just play this third man role and be that rock in defense, whereas AGSB just can't get past them.
Yeah, it's completely true. And, you know, AGSB, they'll be looking for ways to try and maybe open up the scoring a little bit early, but that almost looked like it was going to go to Matador instead. But maybe AGSB just need to continue doing their own thing. They started it at the last game, and that is how you want them to continue. A bit of a double commit on the defense, but that is a phenomenal pass. An incredible pressure coming out from DK.
What's the theme that we're seeing here, Kilsing, with all the goals that have gone in with AGSB, and the thing that we've been criticizing them most for? Passing plays. Yes, that is correct. It is so frustrating to see that we've seen AGSB pull out these passing plays that have caught defenses off guard, and they've just not been able to do that consistently throughout the entire game. Here comes a pop-up ball for FTK, though. Can't get the angle to dunk it down too well. Oh, that's a massive miss from Evil Ed. And the counter-attack, after that ball floating for what felt like a lifetime, Noodles fires downfield and Ed can't make the touch.
Yeah, that is... I mean, you've already really summed it up pretty much perfectly. It's a huge miss on the defense. You see players panic a lot, and you see them not really take the time to get a save, especially when they're in a position to. So it's sad that we've seen it there, but that is a phenomenal part in play. And FTK with the beautiful double touch. Might not have been 100% intentional on the double touch, but the passing team play definitely
from
was.
FTK on the backboard. Beautiful double touch, and the defense had no clue what was coming there. Matador Gaming, and FTK especially, he's been such a great mechanical player back in game number 1, and here in game number 2, he's certainly showing his mechanical abilities are not to be messed with. Here comes Image Creator, though, trying to pass into the middle for FTK, and Evil Ed was lying in wait, but AGSB able to corral it and get relieve the pressure just for the moment. But man alive, you've got to be careful when FTK's got the ball, because he's pulled out some phenomenal plays. Here he goes for an air dribble once again, trying to get it past Noodles. Will not get the touch, and he'll go back into the corner safely.
Yeah, and now we're seeing Matador Gaming slowly get back into the game, but it might be one of those situations where it's just a bit too slow, because even though they've got 3 minutes left, they weren't making too many big opportunities, and every time they seem to get out onto the offense, a player or two players just don't have the boost to commit to the actual challenges. And even there, we're seeing, Evil Ed had the 100 and was the only player on the Matador Gaming team that even had any boost really to contest anything.
So, and again, scrambly defense from AGSB here as Matador Gaming trying to make something happen from the corner. But you certainly feel that Matador Gaming are slowly creeping themselves back into this game number 2. Kind of how they did with game number 1 as well. They were kind of silent, and then I suppose it was just a big mistake from AGSB's defense that opened the door and let them through, but still only a goal behind, and Noodles flicks one, trying to get past the second. FTK will have the positioning in the possession though. Into the corner it will go. And AGSB, again, just you feel like they're not connecting as well as they did against Crosskeys as a team. You just feel they're, I mean, you summed it up perfectly earlier, Killsync, when you said they just feel like 3 solo standard players that have just been lumped together. But I've seen more coordination in solo standard teams than you. I've not played solo standard in about 2 years.
Yeah, that pretty much sums it up perfectly. I mean, one of the problems that I'm seeing, and it's definitely happening in the voice chats, you can tell you don't need to be in them to know that there is clear miscommunications going on, especially on the defense from both of these teams, because even just there, FTK does not need to be that close to Evil Ed at all. Yes, sometimes you can get great plays coming from it, but when Image Creator is sat so far back, the 2 players on offense, if you're that close together, where's the pass going to come from? How are you going to find the other player that you need to find? I mean, even there, another double commit coming from Evil Ed and FTK, and it just tells me that maybe comms are lacking a little bit going into the next game, whether they win or lose this.
You really need
That's
to start
definitely
moving
something
as
that
one
needs to be
unit
picked
if
up.
you're AGSB. I know you have the lead, but you can see where the gaps are, and Matador Gaming just feel like they're going to start exploiting them soon. That's a big double commit though from both Image Creator and Evil Ed, but it does work out in their favour. Just for the moment, they do get the possession downfield, and FTK will keep it from the midfield. 40 seconds to go. Looking to try and get one on the board to tie this game up and possibly send it to another overtime, but they let that one slip through the cracks, and AGSB up by 3-1.
Yeah, and it's a great recovery from Forks onto the wall, and even better pass from DK off of the sidewall, and then Forks again to the follow-up. And it's an open net. I mean, the rotations from Matador Gaming just definitely weren't there on that defensive play. They should have at least had one more player back in defense, it's got to be said. But these are the small errors, these are the small things that eventually you can figure out, but you're not going to figure it out if you get scored on like that.
Little underflick from DK18, gets that slightest of touches, and the defense just fly all the way past it. No chance they were saving that one. What a play from DK. And AGSB, for all the criticism that we've been giving them, Killsync, they pull it out at least in this game, where it has mattered most. And they are 5-1 up. Where have we seen this before in game number 2 with AGSB? Uh-oh. Oh, no.
Yeah, I think...
Oh, don't tell me the server's crashed again.
Oh, no, we've lost it again. I mean... I think we should play it a little bit differently this time. I think, maybe we should just give them 25 seconds to try and score 4 goals. Because, I mean, at this point, 5-1, 24 seconds left. Realistically, the game is not going to be clawed back. So, I think going through another 4.5 minutes, we'll speak to the players and see what they say.
Where and when we can. I'll keep an eye on what's happening in the chat for on the bracket. But yeah, I'm willing to give AGSB the win for that. I mean, we saw them Brazil Crosskey Kings back in game number 2, excuse me, of their series earlier on. Looked like they were on the way to do that in game number 2 here against Matador Gaming as well. But you certainly see that they have stepped up their game, and they have been performing a much better in my opinion, as this series has progressed. And Matador Gaming just seem like they're, I don't know if they're regressing or if they never come to fruition at all.
Yeah, it's difficult. It's really difficult to say because I don't think Matador regressed. I just think AGSB played a completely different play style than we saw in game number 1. In game number 1, they just got walked over by Matador, to be honest. But they still kept it close. But in this game, AGSB have just shut out Matador. And it actually came off of the back of one player. And that was DK18, because although DK18 didn't get a single goal, 4 assists is more important. 4 assists and 4 saves is more important than 4 solo goals. Because it means they're starting to develop as a team.
You're the one of us who has chat on, so I don't know if you can communicate with the teams and ask what they want to do. If we're just going to give them 25 seconds to score 4 goals and call it quits there. Because I think that one was pretty much in the bag for AGSB.
Yeah, they've agreed that AGSB get the victory there. So we're literally just going to go. We're just going to go straight into the next match. Yeah, bless them. FTK and Evil Ed, they were more than okay for them to get the victory.
We'll call it a 5-1.
That's fine for us. Yeah, we'll call that 5-1. I mean, it's nice to see realistically, they weren't going to get 4 goals back in 25 seconds, not unless something went dramatically wrong. And then even if they had managed to get it, they would then start to question, they got a kickoff goal. They weren't actually in a kickoff position at the end of that 25 seconds. That made a difference. And you'd get into so many semantics about the actual proceedings around the goals that, somebody somewhere would turn around and say, no, you know what, right, the game is done. The game is finished. It was 5-1. They weren't getting 4 goals back. Let's just finish that. Let's end that now. But going into this next game, who do you think, if you have a thought on who's going to win this next
AGSB, like we were saying, they've been slowly getting better throughout the course of this. We saw them on a high at the start of the day when they took out Cross Keys in pretty dominant fashion. Then they had a bit of a slip up against Don't Panic, and they kind of regress. Now you see them starting to get back into their element. As I say that, the caster's curse, they missed the defensive touch, and Evil Ed gets one over the top. What happened here? Just the flick over. And again, we've seen that a lot from AGSB, where they tried to clear, but they send it straight into an opponent, and it's straight back into their own net. They need to be more careful with how they're handling these defensive clears, and these defensive plays, rather. So that they're not giving possession straight back to their opponents. But for me, predicting this now a tie series at one game apiece, I would say it's hard to put Matador Gaming over on AGSB. I think AGSB still have the firepower, and you see it there from DK. Just a phenomenal shot, no defense in sight. Both FTK and Image Creator coming across for this. Image Creator should probably gone back into the back post there to be ready for that. But again, just AGSB capitalizing on the mistakes.
Yeah, and I mean, coming back to the last goal that Matador Gaming scored, the reason I want to bring it up and the reason I want to comment on it is because there was actually something in the play that was, in my opinion, more important than the goal itself, more important than giving up possession, and that was the trust that everybody on the AGSB team had for Fork to get a good clear. That is something you can't buy. That is something that defines some of the greatest players in Rocket League. It's that trust for their teammates, even when they know their teammate might not get it clear. It's knowing not to push in, not to rush, to let your teammate do it. If you get scored on, then you get scored on. It's unlucky. It's unfortunate. You carry on and you carry on playing. And that's something AGSB do that, honestly, I don't really see from many teams.
Working as a team most of the time, I should say. I mean, we've had a dig at them quite a lot today, Killsync, for not working as a team quite a lot. But you can see, like you said, the trust is there, knowing, or at least trusting that someone will have my back, and they starting to communicate a little bit more. But there's times where that communication is broken down for AGSB, and you've seen a lot today. There's another great save by Forks as that one was firing in from the left-hand side of the field. But for AGSB, sometimes when they do work as a team, they work so well, and you can see it in their play, whether it's in offense, whether it's in defense, and there's a passing play upfield for Noodles. But when the communication breaks down, all hell breaks loose, and they just try and solo play it. So I don't know what's going on in their communications or how they're feeling, but they need to start working as a team all the time, not just some of the time, and not break it down. Oh, but that's a way over commitment. Noodles, oh, just at the last moment, got the touch on it, but it's not enough. FTK comes away with a goal.
Yeah, that was a great shot from FTK. It's worth saying. Tried to position his car in the way of Noodles, so even if Noodles did get the touch, it was always going to be going out. But if Noodles didn't get the touch, he'd still be scoring the goal. And that's something that you have to have the knowledge of the game to be able to do something like that, because you need to know what's going to happen if you do certain things. And it's a great goal. It's unfortunate defending, but I think it's one of the first times I'm going to definitely say that was less to do with a mistake on defending and more to do with just brilliant offense.
It was phenomenal offense, in fact. But this time AGSB need to fight from behind if they've got any chance of clawing their way back into this game. 1 minute 45 on the clock. And as the time ticks down, so do our chances. Match point looms on the line in this crucial game number 3. Qualification on the line in this series as well. Otherwise, you're out of the All-Star Showdown. You won't be making it through to the main event that starts on the 25th of May. We'll have more information of that coming up a little bit later on towards the end of the stream. We'll let you know what's going on with that main event and how we are going to be covering it, not just on Rocket Kingdom TV, but as well on the British Esports Association channels as well. Both these teams fighting for that. Matador Gaming now on the back foot. Oh, Image Creator with a phenomenal save. DK, what a shot it was. But Image Creator, we've not said his name a lot like we said before, but when it comes down to it, his defense has stepped the hell up, and he gets the save that may have just saved them in this game.
Yeah, it really would. And you're right. We haven't said much about Image Creator, and that's because I don't think I've ever seen him on offense really yet. And that's because his role, and he knows his role well, his role is a defender, and that is exactly why. That was unbelievably perfect. The 4 saves in the last game, and then, you know, this one here, it's just incredible. 4 saves in the game before, but this one is just incredible. Absolutely spectacular. I should say, not French kiss. Chef's kiss for that Image Creator. 10 seconds to go, and it is all to play for AGSB. They had the possession downfield, but Matador Gaming have relieved it. They might not be the flashiest of teams at Matador Gaming, but they get it done where it counts. Matador Gaming get themselves onto match point. Yeah, this is difficult now. If you're AGSB, this is really difficult, because the one thing we said that they needed to do was start playing more as a team. And they did. They started to play more as a team. They started looking for the passes. The one thing we said about the last series, they needed to get more shots on. And now what are they doing? They're getting more shots on target. The issue that we're seeing is it's accepted, I think even among the AGSB team, that Noodles is their standout player. If every team had that one key pivotal player that, you know, you turn around and say, no, we wouldn't be the same without them, it is Noodles on AGSB. DK and Forks are great. I'm not saying they're not, but Noodles is, you know, that one step above. And in that game, Noodles was almost unheard of. Not because Noodles played bad, but because at every possible moment, Matador Gaming saw that Noodles was the good player and just shut him down. And if you can't counter that, if you have no way around that, unfortunately, it's almost guaranteed losses, and it hurts. But AGSB, they could still take this to game 5.
All games, well, with the exception of that game number 2, where it was just a complete blowout. A complete blowout that was too hot to handle even for the server, and that crashed at the end of the game number 2 rather. But as we come into game number whatever it is, I've said game number so many times today. Played a lot of Rocket League today, but with coming into game number 4, Matador Gaming with qualification on the line in this one, it is all to play for. And AGSB, like you said, Noodles needs to step the hell up, because if you are shut down in a game like that with only one save on the board and about 100 odd points, that just shows you that Matador Gaming have, like you said, Kelsink, identified the problem and assassinated the target.
Yeah, and it's something that even the best teams do every single time. They will find that one player that they're struggling with, that one player who they know is the key standout player. And oh, okay, we're just having some lag, sorry, in the server. It looks like we're going to reset.
All right. Cool. If we're resetting that game, yeah, everyone's leaving, so let's get the hell out of here, and we'll go back to the lovely music for just a little bit. But yeah, for Matador, they've gone about their business quite quietly. Yes, they pull out like players like FTK. They've pulled out the plays where it matters and showed off a little bit, but they've gone about it in a quiet way, because AGSB, they've been on the ball a little bit more, and Matador Gaming have just been so efficient when they have the ball. They've not had a lot of possession, but when they have had possession, they've made it count more so than AGSB have.
Yeah, and yeah, you kind of sum it up perfectly. I mean, the issue, or should I say the major issue that I have with the way that AGSB are playing, they're playing great, they're playing fine, but that's the problem, is that I can use great and fine, but I'm not saying exceptional in this game. And the reason being is because the passes they're making, we saw a few where the passes, they had a perfect opportunity to get a fantastic pass in, and the pass was attempted, but it wasn't perfected. And the pass, if you're trying to make them, that is the most important part about the entire play. A good pass means an easy shot. If somebody has to make a really difficult shot, it's difficult to turn around and say that the pass was perfect, because if it was perfect, it shouldn't be difficult. And at this point in time, AGSB, they're trying to create them, but it's just not finding that sweet spot. Whereas Matador, for the most part, I don't even think they're trying to find passes anymore. I think it's just, let's just find the goal, let's just find the target, and hope we can put enough pressure on that AGSB will eventually collapse and we can just get an easy goal.
Yeah, it's been the plan that we saw Don't Panic really do that as well in the series we saw against AGSB, when Don't Panic were really just letting the game come to them, letting AGSB make the mistakes in defense that they were kind of forcing them to make as well, but they were at least waiting for that mistake. They weren't overextending, which is kind of what we're seeing from Matador, and that's why you don't really see them on offense too much, and we're not talking about all the players all the time, because they're not all pushing up. They're not all taking those risks where they don't really need to in certain situations, and that's working out well for them. But for AGSB, like we keep saying it, the biggest criticism we've had of AGSB today has been their really conservative style of play. They're not overcommitting, which is a great thing, but they're not committing as much as they really should be. They're only really sending one man at a time. They can't get passing plays done where they really need to, and the defense just shuts them down every time because they're only sending one man up at a time.
And some teams can get away with sending one man up at a time if that one man is significantly better than the entirety of the rest of the team. In this case, that is going to be difficult to deal with. Sorry, just cutting myself up there. But in this case, they don't have that one standout player who is better than the entire team. So you have to try and develop as a team. Otherwise, nothing happens really. It just becomes too difficult.
Yeah, and I mean, you talked about Noodles being the best player on AGSB, and I completely agree with you. He's been in situations where he's really held down the offense for AGSB, and once again, as I start talking about him, he just shines his weary head. What a passing play out from DK and gets it in to Noodles.
Yeah, that was just unbelievably perfect. I mean, we're talking about how pivotal he is to the team. Gets the perfect doink off of the sidewall, self-pass, and then gets a great shot on. And for any of those doubters, for any of the people that say, maybe it's an equal team, maybe this team plays as an equal, you've got to accept the fact that there is always one player on a team that is better than the rest. Why? Because that simple fact of life. not every person is equal. They might be better at offense, might be better at defense. Noodles is simply better on offense than his teammates. Fact. That is a fact. But I mean, DK coming out and getting the dunk off at the top is trying to turn around and say, no, shut up, Killsing. I am equally as good.
Yeah, I was. He must be listening. It's like, oh, what are you saying about me? He's just Noodles on offense. Well, I'll show those commentators. Here's a dunk over to put AGSB up by 2. Only a minute and a half into this game, and AGSB really dominating Matador. So let's have a look at what Matador need to do to get past this AGSB squad. Because AGSB now, they are starting to move upfield. They are starting to hold the midfield. And Matador Gaming, I mean, we mentioned it during the break, where they're not holding on to the ball a lot. And I know they've been efficient when they've got the ball in their possession, but it's about time of possession as well. They need to have these more opportunities to get past AGSB in defense. And AGSB are just not letting them have any time in the ball. They're like a cranky kid going home. It's my ball. I will play with it. I will go home and I will take this ball away with me.
Yeah, and I mean it's working at the moment, isn't it? That's just one of the sad facts about it, is that it is working perfectly. You might see DK going up for a potential shot here, to be honest. But no, just leaving that, and it's probably the right decision at this point in time. AGSB have realised, we've got a 2-goal lead. Let's not ruin it. Let's not try and lose it like we have been. That's almost a great shot from Forks, but turns into a fantastic pass. Walk us through that play, Craftman.
Oh, beautiful 1-2. And I mean, we talked about Noodles in offense. Let's see DK and Forks, of course, up in offense as well. Beautiful touch off the backboard, and down to DK it goes, just completely throwing the defense off guard, and they had no idea what to do with that. They're just standing around like deers in the headlights, just waiting for the car to hit them. And it certainly has hit them in this game. 3-0, and 2 minutes still to play with. AGSB fighting for every inch that they can possibly get here on DFA Stadium. Forks trying to go up for the rebound off the backboard of his own shot, but not able to get anywhere with it. But at least they're sending 2 men down now, AGSB. They're really holding Matador back. And they can't break out the midfield. Once again, just Noodles there lying in wait, waiting for the ball to come to him. And this ball is not going into the orange half of the field at all here.
Yeah, and AGSB are doing exactly what they need to. This is... We said it earlier on in the game that, they're not over-committing. They're not pressuring too much now. They realise they've got that 3-goal lead, that 3-goal buffer. And they're doing everything that they need to just hold on to it. They're slowing down the play when they need to. They're making the correct challenges when they need to. And it's a mistake we see from some teams where they get 3 and then they get greedy. And then they lose. And it's something we're not seeing from AGSB. And we haven't ever seen from AGSB, really. They've always been quite a passive, smart team. And they're really holding up well in this game number 4.
Absolutely. 45 seconds to go. And it does look like we will be heading swiftly towards our first game 5 of the day, and of course are going to be our last game of the day coming up in just a little bit. And just to bring you through the other results of the bracket, is Cross Key Kings, after going down to AGSB right back at the start of the day, they have qualified. They have knocked out Basilisk 3-0 in the other qualification match in this bracket. So our 3 teams qualified right now are Don't Panic, the Ferrers Esports, and Cross Key Kings. And it'll be one of these 2. And it will have to be decided in game 5. AGSB, 3-0, and they at least hold on for another game.
Yeah, that's... I mean, they've played that absolutely brilliantly. Holding them off the 3-0 victory. Complete shutout in that match. And Noodles stepped up a bit. But DK... I've got to say, this whole series, DK has been the player on top for AGSB for the most part. In the other game that they've won in the series, 4 assists, 4 saves. This game, 2 goals, an assist, 4 saves again. This is the key player in the series. And DK, it's got to be said as well, DK is, if I'm not mistaken, and I could very well be wrong here, the lowest ranked player at all. in this
Ever.
AGS
In the history of Rocket League, he's the lowest.
In the history of Rocket League, he's the lowest ranked player. There's never been a lower ranked player. DK, I'm pretty sure you're a bronze 1, aren't you? No, I'm kidding. Obviously, I'm kidding. I'm joking. Don't take it to heart. But no, you know, being the lowest player on the team and consistently finishing on top and having not just the best, you know, points, but having the actual best input to a team is incredible. It's absolutely incredible because it goes to show you can keep up with the big boys when it matters.
Yeah, and of course he's one of the original members of AGSB. Forks and Noodles only joined. Well, Noodles actually only joined this year, back in January. Forks joined about a year ago now. Of course, Noodles, we've seen him perform phenomenally well, and now as well, his team just sort of rallying around him. Do you think it's Noodles just rallying the troops, kind of, because we've seen him perform, outshine pretty much everyone on AGSB at various points? Do you think it's a case of Noodles now saying, come on guys, we can do this, we're only a couple of games away, now we're only one game away from qualifying for the actual tournament? Do you think it's a case of that, or do you think it's a case of everyone just on Matador rather just falling apart, or is it AGSB stepping up to the plate as a whole?
I think it's actually Noodles taking a step back and realizing maybe I'm a little bit greedy on my team. Maybe I need to give my team a bit more credit where credit's due. And, you know, doing that has allowed a copious amount of room for improvement for both Forks and DK. And it's been glorious to watch, because even just the transitions that these guys have made, going from playing midweek to playing now, it's incredible. They're just playing so much better, in my opinion. They're just playing so much better as a team. You can win if you win a game as 3 individuals. Yeah, that's good, that's great. But all you've done there is just proven, you know, we have 3 higher ranked players. If you win a game as a team, what you're telling everybody is, look, we're a force to be reckoned with. We're not greedy. We're not individuals. We are a fantastic unit. And that's something that goes so much further in Rocket League.
Definitely so, and we need to start to see Matador stepping up to the plate in the same way that the rest of AGSB have as well. As they had really the game in the match in the palm of their hands. They had a phenomenal game number 3 to push it to that game 4, but then AGSB just rallied the troops, and back to evens we go. Game number 5. Minute and a half gone and still no goals on the board, but here comes the star player for AGSB, Noodles, trying to get out to Forks, who's done his work as well. He's been such a key member, especially. He has had a couple of mistakes back in defense, but when it comes to midfield play, he's been working very, very well, going up for these challenges. Just misses that one against the Image Creator, though, who'll get it into the corner, but no follow-up from Matador Gaming, and that's something we've seen a lot from quite a few of the teams today, where they've just boomed downfield, trying to get all the field position, but then no follow-up comes, and then just give possession straight back to their opponents.
Yeah, I mean, you've summed it up really perfectly. Oh my word, that might be why Image Creator is the defender. I'm sorry to say, Image Creator, but maybe should have been a goal from there. But, you know, fortunately it's still 0-0, so it's not going to cost them too much at the moment. But that really was the perfect opportunity for this Matador Gaming team to go and take the lead in this final game.
Well, it's a very precarious ball as that one's going all the way back, and Image Creator again just hits it straight into the floor. A couple of missed opportunities. If he at least put that one on net, it was in with a chance of going in, because the defense for AGSB was all over the place for a split second there. So a couple of chances came and gone for Matador Gaming, and they must be licking their lips thinking, my oh my, we are so lucky to not be down at least 2. But Evil Ed, he's able to get at least 1 shot onto net, and finally Matador Gaming are on the board.
Yeah, I mean, this was unfortunate from DK, the front flip, forcing it into Evil Ed, and obviously conceding off of the back of it. But I think the most important part of that play, and you said it quite well, this could have already been 2-0. Image Creator really doesn't, or really hasn't been making the same impact on offense as he's been making on defense. But that being said, the impact he's making on defense is far more important than that on offense. But that won't matter when Fork places it so beautifully.
You can't get any better placement than that from Forks. Even if that was any further to the right, Evil Ed would have flipped back and blocked it, or if it was on the other side, he would just driven forward. But Evil Ed, just phenomenal placement to get it where the defender can't. But it might be a goal right off a kickoff. DK was in such a great possession, but Forks hands it off to Noodles, and just in a blink of an eye, AGSB are out in front.
Yeah, that was heartbreaking to see, but the minute you saw it was Noodles that was about to take the shot on target, you almost felt terrified for Evil Ed, knowing full well their save was not going to be coming in. Noodles knows how to place a ball, and when you're only facing off against one other person, you're pretty much always going to get the goal, and this could be another. And now AGSB are just running away with the victory.
And it's just come from so many opportunities that Matador Gaming has given them. You saw Image Creation come back there and try and just get a touch to the side. It wasn't going to be a powerful touch, but he completely whiffs it, leaves it bouncing right in the middle of the field with nobody else about. So AGSB come up and say, "Thank you very much, sir. We'll take that." 3-1 to AGSB in what I can imagine, like less than about 20 seconds. It's gone from 1-0 up for Matador to 3-1 for AGSB.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy how quickly it's changed. But Image Creator getting the first of what should have been 3 goals, but it hasn't come too late for them. They've still got the opportunity to pull this back. It was a great pass over, a bit of a difficult and, shall we say, scrappy defending from AGSB, but the finish simple enough for Image Creator and gets his first goal of, I think, maybe even the series.
Well, at least puts Matador Gaming in with a shot here. Here comes Image Creator looking for Evil Ed in the middle, but he was way too far back, and the defense able to corral that just for the moment. Maybe Matador Gaming, that's all they need. I mean, Image Creator hasn't scored a single goal throughout this series, and that one goal might have twisted the tides in their favour. FTK trying to get something going on offense, and everyone's scrambling about. No one knows what's going on. Image Creator goes to Vernet again, and he gets it this time. 2 bod shots earlier, and he gets the 2 shots this time, and 3-3. Matador tie things up.
Yeah, and that one was actually a great shot. The recovery off of the bump to still find the top of the goal. And Image Creator, it's just absolutely perfect. The minute that you need him on offense, he's there. And when you need him on defense, he's there as well. He's got his hat trick in the game. Image Creator is carrying Matador through to this potential victory.
Where has this been all series long for Image Creator? We talked about him being quite quiet and really being a more defensive player, but 3 goals in a row after 2 failed attempts at net earlier on. Unbelievable stuff from the young man of Image Creator, and it might have just twisted the tides in the favour of Matador Gaming. 10 seconds now, AGSB trying to tie things up. They thought they had the series in the bag, but Image Creator has photoshopped them out of oblivion. They might just be going out of the tournament, and they will. FTK hits it to the ground, and Matador Gaming stand up, Matador, because you, after a phenomenal series where it was back and forth, you looked like you might have been down and out, but you claw it back in the end. Well done to the guys from Matador. But what an incredible end to that game number 5. That was so unexpected. We were expecting AGSB to just run away with that 3-1 lead that they had. 3 goals in like 25 seconds or something, whatever it was. But what a comeback. Image Creator, stand up, man. You have deserved that victory.
Yeah, I mean, if Image Creator takes a look back at this, you have been unbelievably vital to this victory that has been given today.
Phenomenal.
Not just in that final game. In every single game that was played, Image Creator was the one who was arguably most important to every single game. And that is with regards to not just the saves, but the support that was given from the back. And then in that final game, no saves. but 3 goals, a hat-trick coming out in the game that matters when it looked like everything was done. They were 3-1 down.
Yeah.
Image Creator had already missed 2 basically sitters. 2 goals that were super easy, ridiculously open, had already missed those. After that, you'd start to think maybe somebody would mentally be thinking, well, I've thrown it for my team. But no, Image Creator managed to come out of nothing, out of nowhere, and still somehow managed to win that game for them. That was incredible. I honestly can't believe AGSB have gone out, but that was amazing.
That was phenomenal. What an incredible, exciting end to what has been a great day of Rocket League here at the All-Star Showdown qualifier. Just to bring you through the results, just to confirm the teams who have qualified for the main event that starts on May 25th. It is Don't Panic who beat ASGB, who we saw earlier. Ferrers beat Basilisk 3-2. Crosskeys Kings beat Basilisk in the lower bracket 3-0. And of course, we just saw an incredible 5-game series between Matador, who have qualified for the main event, against the ASGB. Commiserations to ASGB because they had a valiant fight throughout this bracket today, but they fall short of the goalpost and they are out. As for what's coming up later on, we are actually going to see the first round draw of the All-Star Showdown over on the ASGB channel, which we will be cutting to once this stream is done. But before we do, we'll tell you what's coming up on Rocket Kingdom in the next few days. On the 21st of May, we're going to have more school versus uni show matches. We're going to have Basilisk versus Plymouth and Exeter, and we're going to have Marling, which I believe is Matador, versus Bristol and a mystery team. Ooh, everyone say ooh. Ooh. That was again, I've been trying to fix the cam sync issue. I'm very sorry, I can't get it fixed. you just went and then said ooh. It's really weird. But so that's coming up.
It just sounds like I was trying to be a ghost, just like ooh. Like it's not Halloween yet, Killsync. Don't get too excited.
Not yet. That's still 5 months away, something like that. I don't know. But that's coming up on.
We're all going to be social distancing Halloween this year.
Just going to be dressed as ghosts in our own homes.
Trick or treat. It will just be me showing up in your Discord calls.
Be on the lookout for Killsync on the 31st of October then. But block him on all social medias at the Killsync. But that's coming up on Thursday. And on Monday, the 25th of May, we have day number 1 of the BEA All-Star Showdown here on Rocket Kingdom TV. We'll have 4 quarterfinal streams on this very channel that you're watching, so if you don't want to miss any of the action, go hit that follow button just above the stream. But for me, that's it done. Killsync, I'll give you the final word of the day. How's it been today? Any final comments before we sign off?
I mean, it's been absolutely incredible. We've seen some fantastic teams go through, and we've also seen some fantastic teams go out. We've followed, I think, AGSB throughout the entirety of this, and it was sad to see that they couldn't hold up the victory. They looked so set to take it, but Image Creator is the ghoul, shall we say, of the teams, the bane of people's lives. Just absolutely sublime. Managed to just hold the Matador game in team up, and it's unfortunate. It's so sad to see, but it's done. It's over for them, but it is not over for the rest of the teams. We will be back again soon. So thank you so much for joining us, Craftman. Thank you so much for casting alongside me. You've been an absolute delight.
It's been a pleasure to have you along, Killsync, as well. Hopefully we'll see you back here on Rocket Kingdom for some more All-Star Showdown very, very soon. But as we said, we'll head over to the SGB channel for the first round draw of the All-Star Showdown, so don't go anywhere. We'll be over there in a second. But for us here on Rocket Kingdom, from me, Craftman, from Killsync, for everyone here at the Rocket Kingdom team, stay safe, my friends. We'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.